All right, well, we got a fun one today. I've got to say a couple things before we start. I've been working all day yesterday. Well, not all day, but a good several hours yesterday. I went through all the pull requests on WinUtil, got them all situated. The boring stuff or white space or little bugs here and there, I just kind of went ahead and merged those. But some fun ones that I thought people will either get feedback from chat on would be good, whether it was a feature or possibly like a pull request where I'm like, well, I want to get some like back and forth going a little bit on some of the either bug fixes, pull requests, or changes. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's a community project. I really like it to be minimal, clean, succinct, and just kind of what everyone's looking for, because that's the idea behind the whole project. Just make Windows usable, right? And then I also spent a bunch of time on WinOneShot. Now, WinOneShot uses the tweaks.json from WinUtil, and it does all the tweaks, but instead of doing it in PowerShell, it does it through .NET libraries, which is really a really fast way of applying tweaks. I think on a new install, WinOneShot would essentially do the tweaks in a matter of seconds instead of maybe like a whole minute. So a pretty large difference between the two, which is kind of cool, because eventually I want to take WinOneShot and then give it to patrons, subscribers, members, and people that have contributed, and also the $10 executable that people have bought. I want to eventually probably replace it with WinOneShot, possibly. I haven't totally gotten to that spot yet where I'm like, we might do that, might not. It depends, but it would have to be almost identical, but I need to switch out like all the tweaks. We'd have to rebuild almost like a GUI, but it wouldn't look the same. So I'm not sure on that. I get some feedback on it, but other than that, everything's been going well. The big thing with WinOneShot yesterday that I worked on, after doing all the PRs and WinUtil, was redoing the Vlonia UI. Now, there's a couple bugs I ran into that if you're doing F#, which let's be real, nobody's programming in F#. It's like out of all the languages on GitHub, I think it has like 0.3%. So it's a very obscure language. Well, come to find out, you can't use live preview with a Vlonia AXMLs with F#. So I was like, crap. But I did find a GitHub project that did hot reload, which hot reload, if you're unfamiliar, as you change the code, it'll actually read and do it when it's in debug mode. So I did find a project and a little workaround there, so we could actually design a GUI probably later in the stream. But let's get started with some WinUtil PRs. Oh, it should be fun. It should be a fun one. I got it all situated, all planned out. I know that's unlike me to plan things, but here we are. All right, let's, oh, well. All right, now we should be good. All right, yes. I think I was rewatching the stream. I thought it was a little bit quieter on the switch. I'm gonna switch this around. Let's all right, now, all right, that should be better. How does that sound? Is that a little bit better? A little bit same as the transition? Because when I switched microphones, I noticed my first mic was a little loud. My second mic wasn't loud enough. Did you do your coffee? Maybe. It's lower than intro mic. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought, LoJack. But this, I just added 3 dB, so it should actually be close to the intro mic. Maybe not exact, but pretty close. All right, so there's also something we need to talk about. Something that you all should know about me, which is very important. And I gotta say, I am terrible in the morning, by the way. I am a complete, worthless, warm body before the hours of about 2 p.m. because I literally did about 30 minutes of work last night, and it probably would have taken me 8 hours if I started at 9 a.m. So that's cool. What do we got? Anything in chat here? Nope. Hello, everyone. Everything's good. Good. Is the one thing you are a pain reading chat? Sometimes chat is annoying and I just ignore you. I know. It's kind of weird too. Like, you know, when it comes to developing live on stream, it's much harder with chat. I mean that in a loving way. I love you guys. Love you all. But at the end of the day, you live stream to entertain. You don't live stream to be productive. So let's just squash this myth. I already understand. I already see you out there. I already see that person like, God, this guy doesn't know anything. I have been doing this for 69 years. Titus doesn't know anything. Back in the day, I did it this way, and it's just the correct way of doing it, and oh, these people online, they don't know anything. I know everything. I see you. But if you're so good, why don't you stream? Why don't you just make some free money? Do you hate money? You might find it's a little harder to do it live while someone's watching you. And especially if you actually get an audience, let's say you actually are good at what you do, then you gotta actually do the thing. Now, it's very easy. For me, it's very easy to do the stuff if I've already done it hundreds of times. But if it's something new, not so much. It's gonna end in disaster, but it might be entertaining. And I love doing new things on stream because, one, it can be entertaining, but two, sometimes chat feedback is very valuable, especially when it's something I just absolutely know nothing about. And people get to see that learning curve. And I think that's inspirational for some folks when they see other people fail. Some people just get their jollies off on seeing other people fail, and that's just, those people are weird. Sociopath behavior. But, you know, most people aren't like that. You know what I'm saying. Just because he sees your comment, he's not obligated to respond. That happens too. Sometimes in some comments, I'm like, ugh. Other times, if someone just is like annoying chat and like constantly just repeating stuff, I just ban them. I think it happened last stream. I should address this on YouTube just so YouTube people understand. YouTube chat's a little weird, and if I ban you in YouTube chat, it like bans you for good from the entire channel. Like, you can't even comment on my videos. So don't act a fool. Because I don't know how to unban you. My ban list is so long. Like, I got done with last stream and I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna unban that guy. He was kind of annoying. I'll give him a second shot. But then I like looked around for like a couple minutes and I was just like, oh dude, this list is so long. I've been doing YouTube for 8 years. I don't know where his stupid name is in this long list. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I guess I'm never gonna see another comment or anything by him. So, moral of the story, if you're on YouTube, you're probably, if you get banned, you're probably just banned for life, and I apologize. Now, on Twitch, though, they actually make it pretty easy to actually unban folks, so if you do get banned on Twitch, like, it's actually quite a bit easier to maintain. Just being real. Just being real. So, if you're like, I'm gonna go on YouTube and say some stuff, your whole account, your entire Google account, probably just gonna get banned forever. And the only other solution to that is just to lock down chat to like members, which I've done before in the past, on YouTube at least. I've never really done it on Twitch because Twitch, for some odd reason, is just much more is much more well behaved. It doesn't make any sense to me. You'd think that Twitch would be more rowdy, but YouTube is actually the one that's always the problem. So anyways, YouTube people, you know, you might be thinking maybe you hadn't had your coffee and you're like, I'm gonna be funny and say a bunch of stupid stuff, but yeah, if I ban you, you're just gone forever. And I just want to let you guys know that. So YouTube, love you guys. I'm gonna keep it open, but I definitely just go, hey, that's annoying. I know, I just banned people. I know, it's terrible. Yeah, more users, more rowdy. I think that's also a thing too. Yeah, but YouTube's great for permanent videos. I think I touched a little bit on this last stream too when it comes to YouTube, but I'll say it again. YouTube is, I haven't done a video since November, and I've been meaning to do one, but on YouTube I don't really. I wait till like I need to make a video before actually doing it. And yeah. And I just wait for that video to happen organically. Sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes it's like a couple days. You just never know. And it just, you know, I go through spurts where I make a lot of videos. Sometimes I don't. But I don't do any sponsors on YouTube at all. And most people are like, well, that's great. It's some kind of ethical, moral thing with them. But for me, it's just, I really don't like that, that back and forth. And the whole sponsor thing is, you know, I've touched on this many times. But, yeah, it doesn't feel good to me, and it adds like bias to the videos. And most sponsors are really ardent about like titling and also messaging, so they really control things. So when YouTubers say it doesn't add bias to the video when something's sponsored, they're lying to you. It does, but I don't shame them for making sponsored videos because YouTube doesn't pay anything. Let's just be real. The era of YouTubers is over, and all you can do is, if you get a big enough audience, is do sponsored spots. Sponsored spots will pay the bills. If you don't do sponsors, you will not be able to live off a YouTuber salary with less than probably a couple million subscribers. Maybe if you get up to 2 or 3 million subscribers, you could do that, but that's if you don't have any staff. If you have an editor or anything like that, you still got to do the sponsored spots. So it's like a catch-22. So that's why you see like this quality of YouTube videos go kind of in the crapper. Like, have you noticed like everything's sponsored? Even with Sponsor Block, which is a great extension. If you're not using it on YouTube, definitely install it. But I think like the last era of great YouTubers, you debate me on this for sure, but like you just take like the Jacksepticeye, Markiplier era, like the late 2010s, I want to say, those guys were able to make an entire living just doing videos without any sponsors. And that was the end of that. The end of that, right around 2020, everything changed. And that was the death of the YouTuber, in my opinion. So I never really considered YouTubing or YouTuber as a profession. It's not really a profession these days. It's just like, hey, they need to rename it like video producer with sponsors is essentially the only profession you can have in today's world. So yeah, just being real. Anyways, oh god, I don't even think they do any sponsored or unboxing anyways. What is the pay difference between YouTube and Twitch? Live streaming isn't very good, period. I think if you get like thousands of viewers and a ton of subscribers, it can do it. But like I get paid. Well, here, I'll just show you. Just show you the difference. Let's go Twitch. Let's see. It's been a while since we've seen this, right? Analytics, payouts, or earnings. Here we go. So past 30 days, I did have some times where I was off here, so this isn't representative. I made $275, but I only streamed 18 hours. So 18 hours of work, 275. I don't know what is that per hour? About it's like $15 an hour. That's not that bad. I will start looking at PRs here in a second. But let's finish this. So a normal month, usually it's about 30 or 40 hours, and I usually average around $400 in revenue with Twitch. Now for YouTube, just to let y'all know, YouTube's a little bit weirder because it's hard to isolate live revenue. But this past 30 days, I haven't produced any videos, and I've made $1,600. Now, having said that, almost all of that comes from long-form content. I've produced over 1,000 videos, so I don't even know how many hours I spent on that 1,000 videos, but YouTube still shows my back catalog, and well, I don't even know if they show it, but I have so many videos that are referenced by myself and other people outside of YouTube that it still gets enough views to where I'm usually around, 500 to a million, or this says 750,000 to a million views every month from just legacy content. Now, from the live stream side of things, this is where it gets kind of interesting. Like, go content live, and you'll notice, like, let's take the Win update. This is my coming back stream. This is a little bit higher than usual, but I made $33 on that stream. So YouTube's live stream is kind of shite. It's not very good. So you don't really make much money, but it's just like icing on the cake, so to speak, where, the live stream, it's not necessarily about people donating or subscribing. It's more about just like the end product that is done. So like what I think of live streams is the communication back and forth we have and getting like PRs and stuff done. So that's what that's kind of where I envision a lot of the live content being, is one, getting kind of a connection with the audience, because I think that's really important, and then having like a back and forth conversation. So that's where I'm kind of thinking, and why I still do live streams. Yeah. And that's the thing, but I will say live streaming is also a lot of fun, and it doesn't require much prep. Like, yeah, there's maybe like 30-minute setup, an hour, because I already have a dedicated room with a whole bunch of lighting and green screen and all the things. So it's not much of a setup, but it's still about 30 minutes, and I'll still test like audio, and I do everything in-house myself. So that's it. Yeah, sponsors and collaborations where you earn some money, and that's true. That's true. I don't know if YouTubing's oversaturated. I think you can still get a healthy audience on YouTube, but it's Google's definitely, the shitification of it is considerable. But yeah, is there live ads on YouTube? Could be. I would imagine they would add that, but I don't know. It's weird. I think there was like the glory days of YouTube, and I've talked to YouTubers that have been around for a decade plus. I chat with a lot of them, and they've said, like, go back 10 years or something. Like, back in the early days, they were making like bank. Like the mid to late 2010s, before the adpocalypse, I think it was Logan Paul that ruined it. But before that, they were pulling in tens of thousands of dollars, and you could do that with a sub 1 million audience just from YouTube ads. So back in the day, YouTube did pay very well. And I also, some of it is the advertiser probably not paying as much, but I think Google has done some creative accounting on the back end as well, because now it's like, bro, that's not even worth making a video unless you're just really passionate about what you want to do and you just want an audience. That's fine. But yeah, that's just kind of the nature of the beast these days. But it's interesting to see the evolution of it. Yeah. Broken jaw and brain damage? No, that's his brother. I was talking about Logan Paul. Jake Paul's a whole different redheaded stepchild. So yeah. All right, let's get going. Let's get into some WinUtil PRs. I have don't want to bury the lead here. We're 25 minutes in. Let's get to some poll requests, shall we? I'm gonna come back a little bit on that. I think my zoom has just been a little too aggressive. Now, I've already kind of gone through these, and I wanted to go through each one and kind of show what I was thinking on each one. This one, if it does fail, it won't give an error. Let's see. Gabby has been simplifying a lot of the code. So we were doing like try catch, and what this does is you can see the amount of lines this is, and it really kind of bringing it down like this can be a good thing, and minimizing it. This is much harder to read, and a lot of these try catch statements, I think some of it is AI slop from other PRs or other things like that. Consolidating most of the line is kind of the highest priority of WinUtil this year, because right now we are hovering around 10,000 lines, and I just will not accept PRs that needlessly bloat the lines. And you might be thinking, what does that matter? WinUtil right now is around 700 kilobytes. It will never hit 1 meg for the PS1 script. I just won't ever allow it to get that big, because that's just going to be non-performant, and at the end of the day, it is a script. And adding that much bloat to a project or a script itself, it will just not perform as well, especially with that. So really the main priority this year for WinUtil is cleaning it up, making it more succinct. And I do appreciate a lot of the PRs I've gotten from the community, and specifically Gabby here, where it was, hey, let's just simplify things. Let's get rid of some of the excess garbage that isn't needed. Now, my critique on this comment was using silently continue. So what you can do in PowerShell is on error action, silently continue. This is actually, like, instead of having all this try catch nonsense, what we could have done is just added a silently continue here on this line and a silently continue here. It would have been a nice in between. He said, hey, these never actually error when doing a get app x package and then a remove package. I'm not certain he's correct on that. He says he's tested it, but I'm not 100% on the error action there. So I might keep an eye on this, but at the same time, debloat is not really used that much in WinUtil, especially removing AppX packages. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave it like this. I think it'll be fine regardless, but just something to think about whenever you're using a PowerShell command and you're stringing a lot of commands together. A lot of times you want to say, hey, on error action, you want to stop. Do you want to silently continue? There's also ignore, but I personally like silently continue because it still retains the error and typically puts it out in console, where if you use ignore, a lot of times it'll dump the error and not display it verbosely. So that's why silently continue is kind of my go-to option for error actions. Anyways, this was a good PR. I do like the consolidation. All right, let's get that. And later in the stream, once we get through these PRs, we will look at WinOneShot, I want to show you what we've come up with. Just a little teaser, just for those, since it's just the start of the stream. This is what it currently looks like. So you guys have run tweaks in WinUtil probably. This is something I kind of worked on a little bit, polished up a bit last night off stream. And this just did all the registry tweaks, service tweaks, task scheduling, and app removal. There was not any apps removed. Each app takes about 1 second to remove. This is all using .NET, absolutely zero PowerShell. It's asynchronous, meaning it can run parallel. It is fast. So it also uses WinOneShot tweaks.json. We do a deserialization of all the tweaks that are done on WinUtil that we've built up over the past 5 years. I didn't want to lose any of that. And why not just take those? And instead of doing them in PowerShell, we converted it. Well, I converted it because this is an only me project. I didn't want anybody touching this one. Mainly so I could learn a little bit more, and I didn't want to do code review on it. So this one is specifically all programmed by me, not touched by anybody, and it's private. But it's still just using tweaks.json from WinUtil, and it's fast. So that's what WinOneShot is. Haven't released it to the public at all. I think we've put it in our Discord. If you're a Twitch member or Twitch subscriber or like a YouTube member as well, I think you should have access to the Discord with that. Well, if you're like a fan, subscriber, supporter type level. Mainly by me, proceeds to code review AI. Hey, if you aren't using AI, what are you doing? What are you doing? You got to use AI a bit. If you're not using AI, you're missing out, bro. Missing out. Now, I think this one, what do we get? I think I agreed with the try catch on this one. What was this? Yeah, that was ugly. I did agree with that. All right, we're not going to do that PR. Moving on. Next one, enable legacy recovery. This was an interesting one because of what he was doing here. Now, before we were doing a start process with the BCD edit of legacy. This adds F8 to the startup. There was also some registry adds here, specifically to last known good. Now, last known good configuration was used quite heavily in the Windows 7 era. This is actually not even in Windows 10 or Windows 11. So it was kind of interesting that this made it in to WinUtil. It doesn't hurt anything to have last known good there. It's just not used. So it's kind of funny to see this old tweak that I actually liked. I was kind of, I hoped Microsoft would ever bring it back, but they never did. And this was just reminiscences from a bygone era. So anyways, yes, this was actually a really good tweak here, but I just loved seeing the last known good configuration. I even posted about this. I forgot about it, but it was removed in Windows 8, and I think it was never brought back. So it's really kind of cool. I think also he said the tweak still works for F8 nicely, but yeah, it was very cool. And I was just saying, yeah, I just want to show it on stream because kind of put a smile on my face back when I actually liked stuff that Microsoft did. Last known good configuration was cool. I miss it. We'll also probably run in the future here. There's another PR coming up, specifically over registry backup, which, if you didn't know, Microsoft got rid of in Windows 11. So your registry never gets backed up. So if it ever gets corrupted and you don't have a proper restore point, you're kind of screwed. Yeah. Yeah, so, like, here's the thing about AI, and people miss this completely. So there's the AI bros that think it's just going to write everything, right? You're Bob down the street that doesn't know anything about programming or top-down or understanding what frameworks to use when, or what languages they should use for what. Those guys are just hopeless. AI is never going to do shit for them. Maybe it'll be able to succinctly make an outline of something, but they're never going to be able to really use it to its capabilities. And likewise, even a programmer, or someone that understands the basics of programming, a lot of the junior programmers will lose their jobs. It's already happening. Wake up if you haven't noticed. And to say that AI won't replace some programmers is silly. It's obviously replacing programmers. It's obviously replacing a lot of the programming staff. A lot of the seniors and people that really know programming are safe and will remain so. You still need to have somebody with some level of competence, but you won't need as many of them. And that's the thing that people miss about AI. Yes, it's replacing jobs, but it's not going to replace all the jobs. It's just going to replace some of the jobs. And that is the in-between hard truth most people have a hard time swallowing. It's not going to replace all of them like some AI bros think, but it's also it's not just completely fairy dust either. It's not worthless. There is a good in-between. And that's the truth of the matter. AI should be used. You need to learn it. You need to learn how to use it properly. And it can be extremely beneficial to you. It will increase your productivity. Yes, these are truth statements. But it will not replace your mind. It will not replace how you work. It's just going to speed things up. That's all it does. A good example of this outside of the programming space is like these live streams, guys. At the end of the day, what I do is I just get a timestamped, subtitled transcript of all these 3-hour live streams. I feed it into AI and say, hey, give me all the key moments in an HH:MM:SS format, and put it into a stream, and then it automatically chops up the entire stream for me and stamps it. That would take me hours to do manually, and it does it in about 30 seconds. So there you go. There's really good use cases for it. It can't be used for everything, but it will replace some people's jobs, and it will replace a lot of things. And yes, you still need to learn it and learn how to use it properly. It's not a one thing can beat everything, but it's also not worthless. So the people like beating the drum like, hate AI, it should just disappear, they're idiots. And the people that are like, hey, it's gonna replace everybody's job, it's gonna be amazing, it's like bigger than the internet, are also idiots. They're both morons. It's the truth's in between. You can use it, it's good. It's not great, but it does a lot. That's all I'm saying. Can AI raise my kids? I might be able to answer you some questions. Just think of it as a better Google search. How's that? As long as you use your brain and don't completely accept everything that you see. But also, you really shouldn't. It's like I say, you can't just Google search stuff and go, oh, well, it's on the internet. It's obviously true. People will think the world's flat. I'm sorry. Anyways, small rant. Continuing on. Let's see. Features NFS. So yeah, this one he tried to consolidate down to just use the client. But when it comes to NFS, now you could probably do client only here, but there's specific things when you map NFS drives. And you do still need a UID and a GID because NFS typically uses anonymous access. So these two registry keys are actually pretty vital for NFS working. And a lot of people don't realize it. Some of this might be fixed in future Windows releases. I would hope that they would make this a lot easier, as NFS is used quite often in a lot of places. But I find I always end up doing these same steps, and I've added this extra lines on purpose because anytime I'm mapping my NFS drive specifically in Windows, like, do I even have it mapped over here? I do. These are NFS drives. And how I map it is usually on startup. It pulls, let me So do I have NFS drives? Yes, I do. There we go. I usually pull these and I map it to my NAS box back here. And this is mapped via NFS, not SMB. And you might be thinking, why use NFS instead of SMB? NFS is considerably faster. So definitely do. Alrighty. So we're gonna actually close this out. We're not gonna accept this PR because I had that, and I left a guide on how to set up NFS here on this PR. Just if anybody does use NFS drives on their system, that's the reason why there's those extra lines. Microsoft's official documentation for it sucks, but Microsoft wants to push SMB adoption because that's their protocol. Also, the protocol that was exploited in 2018 that caused all of the really nasty ransomware of the late 2010s, and also was a massive exploit used by the NSA tool leak, and a lot of shenanigans have happened over the years in NFS, specifically over remote execution and other exploits. So I hate SMB. The reason why people still use SMB primarily is 1, lack of knowledge, and 2, permissions. Advanced permissions, specifically people that use like local domains, like on-prem domains with a lot of permissions and different distribution, like OU groups or organization units, like accounting, and then here's your staff, and then here's the higher ups or possibly your C-suite and other things in a different branch, and you want to lock down different permissions for different groups. It makes sense in some settings, but most SMB usage, I'd say probably 90% plus, is technically probably just should be NFS in most environments. It's just they don't know how to set it up properly. Anywho, update the updates tab. This looks very interesting. Removing a lot of comments and cleaning up a lot of the updates. This one I wanted to try. What was this bug? Delivery updates. It says it fixed. Enables delivery optimization. This also breaks the store, which I was able to replicate, I think, on one of our setups. Let's see here. The one thing I noticed is he did remove like the DLL unregisters. So I'm thinking, I don't know if I like this one, just because I would prefer to do probably an unregister the DLLs as well, which you should see, like it takes the existing DLLs and then comes back. This is the reversion script, but up here, I believe we have the DLL renamed. I went and kind of went nuclear with a lot of this resetting and breaking Windows Update, because this was during the NVMe era, and I wanted to make sure Windows Update got disabled properly. But it's an interesting way of resetting local policies. Typically, I've always done it through command or CMD instead of doing it through recreating the database here. This is kind of a cool way of doing it. But let's try it out. I kind of want to see this work, and we'll try it on this system directly. Let's check this out. We're going to do a compile and then test this section of how it disables it. Because when you disable Windows Update now, which let's go ahead and do it, and I'll show you kind of what it looks like when this happens. We're going to go Windows Update. You have these. Let's just install those. That's fine. This is WinOneShot. Let's switch our project over to WinUtil. Alrighty. And we're going to download all those merges. And then we're going to check out this PR. And instead of doing a direct merge, like you see me YOLO many times, Since I don't necessarily agree with this PR, but it could be good, I kind of want to go into it. Here's the PR itself. I do like how it is much more succinct. We're going to check it out. And now, when we go to WinUtil, you'll notice we are on the PR 3833. We're going to do a compile, and we're going to do a run. This is going to recompile and do it as a run over here. And what I want to see is I want this to break two things within Windows. The big things within Windows that I need the disable of Windows Update to break is one, this entire screen here. I need to make sure that that will essentially make this not work. It shouldn't show anything. You shouldn't be able to check for updates. You should just get like an error message essentially. And the second thing is update troubleshooter. So when you go Windows Update settings, I think there's a Windows Update troubleshooter that can get run. Now, it's been a minute since I've run that thing, but usually it's buried in the settings. If we could find it. We'll try to download it and install it. We'll try it. But I want to make sure it breaks the troubleshooter as well. So we want to make sure Microsoft can't repair Windows Update. That's a very essential part of disabling updates, because if you can't disable them properly and people can force updates in, it will automatically undo the disable of updates, and then your system will update. And it should be very much a toggle, a permanent toggle. And then when you hit enable updates, it should revert everything, and then you can update.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
Fat Bastard, thank you for the gifted sub, man. Much appreciated. So go System, go down to Troubleshoot, and then go to Other Troubleshooters. Here's Windows Update. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Coding Wonders. That's where it moved to. So this is where it is. I'm going to wait for this security update to go through, which is fine. I still believe you should do security updates. Although just be cautious. And I would not run them on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I like to give them at least a couple days to breathe so we can find bugs with them. Cumulative updates and feature updates I still hate. I still say you should push those back as far as you possibly can. Chris, do you think Microsoft will succeed in making or converting Windows to a SaaS? I don't think so. No. Software as a service with Windows being the service, it just doesn't make any sense to me. If they really push it hard, I think they'll lose quite a bit of their base. Mac will probably be the main winner. Linux to a lesser extent, but I think it will still be a winner in that realm. But I think a lot of people will just stop using a personal computer as well. I think that's the third option most people miss. One, personal computing itself has gotten so much more expensive with RAM limitations and other things. I think if we look 10 years in the future, judging by how things are going right now, desktop computer usage will continue to drop. It'll be more of a extreme luxury to have a personal computer for many. All right, that failed. That's fine. I'm not going to retry. We're going to just do a compile run. Oh, no. Cumulative isn't new security. It shouldn't be. Cumulative typically rolls in features as well. I could be wrong there. Sometimes they rebrand things. All right, so we're going to do disable updates. This is the new Gabby version. Let's see what this looks like. Click disabled. Well, that's interesting. It seems like it's removing an awful lot of files. Let's look at that code again. What's that doing? Security. Here's the disable. Might nuke my stream. Remove item, see software distribution. Oh, damn. I must have a lot in my software distribution folder. That just clears out the existing updates that are loaded on the system. Let's see what else we have. So I had a 1.5 gigs of files. That's not that many, actually. For Windows, at least. All right, updates are, you must restart your system in order to see the changes take effect. So that's fine. We're going to close this out. I'm going to go ahead and launch into system settings just to see if it immediately disabled or not. I would imagine it didn't. It did not. So let's go ahead and reboot our system. Chris, can you compile Rust kernel Microsoft Linux? Not sure if I understand that question. Updates are underway. Gotta love Windows and their forced updates. I like to think while we were all here, what's the point of lives? Well, that's cynical. I don't know. I think it's our duty to make sure that we improve others and push our species forward is the point of life, in my opinion. You can do more good than bad. That's a win. Makes you feel good knowing you improve someone else's life. I think that's the point, and at least in my humble point of view. I don't know if that's if you're implying something else that's a little bit generic and deeper, but yeah, I think if you can improve someone else's life and do good, hell, what else is there? And if you can't, that's just a sad existence. Stop ignoring. Calum, you do see I am actually doing PRs, right? That's a good one, though. I do appreciate Coding Wonders putting this out here. Oh, no. It also dropped cumulative. Okay. Security and preview. This is really good to know. I did not know this. AI component. Oh, God. That might not be so bad. I do wish they kept the year, month in the titles, though. It's just nice to have. But if you look at the security... No, they don't even have it in the security to preview. Interesting. I wonder why they changed that. Huh. It's annoying. I wish they put like October update or whatever it might be. IT admins are protesting Microsoft decisions. Dumbest move? I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, don't we think? I mean, they've done a lot dumber moves. They kept it after a lot of backlash. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think we might be splitting hairs here. I would say a lot of the force push of Copilot and a lot of AI nonsense is their dumbest move. But this is up there. I mean, it's pretty bad from a naming scheme standpoint, but whatever. They promised Windows title improvements after Outrage. But this is back from October, isn't it? I feel like Maury. And we found out that was a lie. Oh, man. It was great. It was gravy. All right. WinVer. We're still on 7171. How is our... Actually, let's go settings. Let's go Windows Update. Broken? Perfect. That is looking exactly how I wanted it. Let's go into troubleshooting and see if it can repair itself. If it can't repair itself, we have done our job. And then we will try to... Okay. Let's see if it can do a Microsoft Store app here. Let's get help. Oh, this is so painful. Hey, at least Microsoft Store's working. I do like that. The other one did break the Microsoft Store, so this might be a better way. I think I'm gonna accept this PR. I think it's the way to go. I think I was a little too aggressive with my killing of it. All right. So with GitHub installed, it should run that. Or does it only pull up the GitHub app? Okay, guess let's open it. Okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. So
yeah, well,
run it one more time.
The dude abides.
Raz, thanks for the prime. Yeah, let's see if we can get the Microsoft Store. I think it should. Microsoft Store's still working, so that's good. Let's see if there's any updates for us on the Microsoft Store. Okay. I don't really have anything on the Microsoft Store. Except maybe Xbox still. And that's just WinGit. Yeah, it's just mainly WinGit on this thing. Ooh, we got LinkedIn. Can you uninstall LinkedIn? It wouldn't surprise me if they said, no, you will use our shitty social network. Oh, you can. Okay, great. All right, man. I think this works great. Let's open up Microsoft News, our trusted news source. Fair and balanced. Oh, God. Alright, whatever. I mean, it works. It looks like it's working, but also Windows Update is broken and the troubleshooter doesn't launch. I'm happy with this. I was just wanted to try that. Let's see if it uninstalls those apps while we're here. Let's do some WinOneShot action and see how fast it uninstalls those apps. That's another thing I wanted to try. This is your new troubleshooter? Oh no. What do we got? It's so bad, it's good. Oh my god. I feel like I'm watching Trolls 2 for the first time. Except it's my operating system. Oh my god, that's so gravy. That's so amazing, Coding Wonders. It's not a feature, it's a bug. God bless it. That's funny. Alright, let's do a .NET run. Let's see how fast this thing. I'm not even gonna do the debug on this one. Let's just run it not under debug mode. I haven't run this under non-debug mode. Let's see how fast it goes. Boom. There's Bing News. There's Get Help. Done. Gone. All the Microsoft Store stuff is gone. Ooh. Magic. Damn, I'm good. That's awesome. All right. Anyways, yeah, Gabby's PR is looking fantastic. Now let's undo it and make sure we can update our system still. Also important. All right. Let's do our compile run. Recompile with this PR. I gotta say, it's a considerable consolidation from the old one, and it looks to be even better from a disable and enable standpoint. We're gonna try the enable now, just to make sure that goes the other way. Gotta test. We go default settings. Should restore all that. Close. Close. Restart. Yeah, I usually can tell the LLM PRs that aren't done well. Pretty damn easy. The copium is real on a lot of programmers on the AI side of things. Don't look at me, it's creepy. It's creepy. Oh my god, have you guys seen the new Razer AI stuff? Oh god bless. We gotta pull it up. We gotta pull that up too. Alright, let's see if this re-enabled our updates. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful, beautiful thing. It's looking good. I'm calling it right now. That is a thing of beauty. I didn't think I'd accept that PR. I remember working on this updates tab, but unregistering DLLs wasn't needed, and it ended up breaking the Microsoft Store. Also removing all these properties and re-adding. It's just a little too excessive. This was perfect though. Approved. Merge that back in. Yeah, let's see. I think it's... Yeah, this is the one. Razer AI, guys. Just wait. Have you seen this? This is amazing. Your AI desk companion from Razer. It's so bad it's good. Oh, I love it. Oh, this is peak right here. If you don't know, I don't use any Razer products anymore. They just suck. When you look at Synapse and just the absolute extreme debloat or bloat that happens with all the Razer stuff, on top of like Razer just being an awful company, if you didn't know, they actually made like a crypto miner that ran on your PC that chewed up a bunch of cards. Like, what was this, back in 2020? It might have been about 5 years ago. Razer did that as well. Razer's just terrible. Oh my god, if you buy Razer products, you're such a sucker. That's all I gotta say. And I say that as a guy that had bought Razer products in the past. But buying them in 2025, you are an insane person. Razer should die in a fire as a company. Anyways, this is the AI desk companion. Oh, wait. Let's turn off this sound. I don't feel like getting copyright striked. We're just gonna have to see it. Wakey, rise and shine. Morning, Jerry. You are snoring again. Definitely wear your favorite green jacket. Look, now we're really vibing. Have a good day. Oh, hi, cutie. Hi, Amanda. Great brainstorming last night. Actually need more. What if we flip the design here? Nice. I think you're on to something. Hold on, soldier. We need more air support. Yeah, whoa, clean shot. Nice one. Oh, maybe aim for the head next time. We're doomed as a species. Oh my god. Oh god, people are gonna buy this trash, aren't they? It makes for such a great clip, though. Oh. Yeah, I get why people hate AI. I get it, man. God. Oh, man, that makes my head hurt. Anyways, yeah, a buddy of mine sent that to me, and I just cracked up. It was just so hilarious. I was like, no way that's real. He's like, man, I'm telling you. I was like, are you gonna buy it? I should buy it just to make fun of it. It would be hilarious. Have it like a little avatar sitting here. See if we can't hack it or something. Oh, the entertainment value alone. Think of the possibilities. Oh. GTA 6. You know, I've never been a big Grand Theft Auto guy. Yeah. It'd be great to give it an identity crisis. I don't know, man. Those characters already look like they were in the middle of an identity crisis. Alright. Yeah, that was good. This was great. Alright, next pull request. Sorry. I take forever on these. I knocked out 40-something pull requests yesterday. Cody Wonders is... Oh, no, Cody Wonders finished this one. I think he was cleaning it up a bit just so we don't have as much. He put a diagnostic tool in there. The main problem with like adding the diagnostic tool, and I talked to him yesterday about this offline, was it added too many lines of code was the big thing. He's definitely brought it down. It's 262 now instead of I think it was like 700 and something. So let's see what we got here. Registry adds. We're adding a couple registries there. Probably don't need a lot of this. Like, we could add these comments into the actual commit itself on Git. So instead of it actually being in the code and compiled every single time, it could actually be a comment on Git. That's how I would prefer a lot of these to be instead of being in the code itself. This is fixing the Explorer issue, which they still haven't fixed, apparently. Show file extensions. Clean up. Save Windows image. That's good. That's good. It's fine. A lot of try catches. Still seems very wordy, and I hate this. Start sleep. But this is just in the catch section, so it should only work. It should only try that again if the dismount actually failed, which is fine. 80K. That's fine. MicroWin. I forget where it was. I think it was doing a video. Yeah, I don't take myself that seriously, if you didn't know. But God, I was watching a video, and I think it was like a programming video or something, and I got a comment, and this guy was like, I am a professional programmer of 20 plus years or something crazy, and what you're doing here is wrong. You should add a comment in line. And I was like, that way, like, you should he's like, you should comment the code in line, so the code remains, but it's commented out. And I just laughed my butt off. I was like, okay, old man. In the 21st century, we created something. The great Linus Torvalds created an amazing piece of software called Git. You don't need to comment old code out. It's in the commits. You can just revert your software back to that point in time perfectly every time without having to manually go through and uncomment crap. So go back to yelling at clouds, old man. The future is now. So that's why I was like, But I think in these we could probably do some comments or something. I don't mind it that much, but yeah, these do seem a little wordy with the excessive line comments. So instead of doing a Cocoa for Windows 80K, we're just grabbing it directly from Microsoft. The problem with that is the Microsoft links will change, and they will break over time. Have you thought about making MicroWin its own project? We talked about that, actually. So the main thing about MicroWin is it could very well, like Coding Wonders has something called DISM tools. Here's his project too, if you want to look it up. It does a lot too, and he could easily expand this to do like an ISO tool style thing. And the thing I'm thinking, like this is just his tool. Here, let me put it in chat for folks so you can check out Coding Wonder stuff. Is he already kind of does this? If he wanted to do like a standalone project for it, I think he probably should. But MicroWin was never meant to be an NT Lite or something that had a ton of options. It was just meant to be an ISO that I felt like Microsoft should produce in 2025 without all the extra crap. Everything still works, fully compatible with everything. Your dad could use it. It wouldn't be a problem, you know? It wouldn't be something that requires very many options to choose from. And what it would do is just take the official Microsoft ISO, drop all the AI nonsense and other crap that no one uses, and just make a stock image without bloatware or any of the extra crap, and then just spit out an ISO that people could load using Rufus or Ventoy or whatever you're going to use. That's the whole idea of MicroWin. I don't want it to do anything else. I don't want it to inject a bunch of stuff. I don't really want it to do anything. Yeah, we did add an inject drivers button that would just copy the drivers that are installed on your system to the ISO just to make things a little easier. But I don't want feature creep to run out of control and it become its own thing, because that could very well turn into this massive project in its own set. So the idea is to limit the scope and to keep it clean and succinct on that side of things. So that's the thought process. Anyways, let me link this in chat so folks can check out Coding Wonder stuff. Oh, you guys already did it. Never mind. I was gonna copy that. But yeah, you're already ahead of me. But that's the thought process. So that's why we kind of want to keep it very clean. And this is the first run. Expanding that. That's fine. And test rootkit paths and get rootkits. I wonder why there's two functions here for the get rootkits and test rootkit paths. I feel like that should be a singular thing. Are we having a lot of dismount errors here as well? I gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought, coding. Okay, we were having a lot of dismount window image. I remember for a little bit there, we had one where we were duplicating the image and it made a massive ISO. I got you. So if someone had process locked in the mount directory, it would actually error out. I think I want to kind of go in and clean some more of this up before we go for it. Or maybe we accept it and then I'll clean it. It looks pretty good though. I think let's go ahead and accept this and merge it. It looks a lot better. All right. God, I hate testing this, dude. You have to have a crazy amount of patience. I'll test it. All right, let's test it. Let's check it out. You're right. We'll test it. Okay. Yeah, let's just discard. Check it out. Okie dokie. We've checked it out. Let's do a compile. And as a tester, I know patience is my true skill. It's true. I feel like as you get older, you get more patience and you realize, you know, sometimes you just gotta have to wait. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, I like that. That's a lot cleaner, dude. I like that a lot, actually. lot cleaner. Do we have an ISO here? All right, let me pull our ISO. What do we got? 25H2 Devil Edition. We're gonna go with this one actually. Look at the feature creep here. Talk about feature creep kind of gone out of control. Look at the Windows 10 ISO to Windows 11. And every single release is like crazy. Look at the jump between 24H2 and 25H2. Almost 2 gigs. It's like they don't even care anymore. Wild. Absolutely. Ooh, actually we already have it there. Just dump those. All right, we got our downloads. Actually, Scratch is fine. Let's grab get ISO, downloads, 25H2. Let's look at it. It's like Microsoft forgot how to update their own WIM images. You know, tech guy, it would not surprise me if a lot of the older legacy people have retired and they've gone, and all they got is a bunch of young folks that don't know. They don't have the reference to what the old senior engineers actually did. I think some of the knowledge was lost. Sure feels like that, at least. Okay, so looking at this should populate. Alrighty, here we go. So Windows 11 Pro, we could inject drivers if we wanted to pull in the same drivers from this system. We'd just import the drivers from current system. Copy to Ventoy, I think we removed this feature. I don't think it's really serving, and a lot of people, I've even gotten emails about it. So we'll probably get rid of that in the future. Disable WBPT. I think this should not be an option anymore. We're going to remove it. We just need to do it by defaults. Nobody should be using WPPT anymore. Allow PC to upgrade to Windows 11. We need to remove this entire option. I know people have asked for it, but I'm not going to support Windows 10, period. Convert this image to ESD. I hate ESD, period. But it's essentially taking a zip file and put it in another zip file. Oversimplification. I hate ESDs. I hate dealing with ESDs. And does anybody even use a DVD anymore? Because that was the whole purpose of ESD, was to basically strip it down. I just don't think anybody should be doing ESDs in this day and age. Everyone's going to just toss them on a USB anyways. And it's always going to fit. I mean, do people use... I mean, it's not even to fit in a 4 gig. And the one up from a 4 gig is an 8 gig. It'll fit in an 8 gig USB. I just don't think anybody should use ESD. I think we remove this option, this option, this option. Skip first log on animation. And I think we do this by defaults. Nobody should... That first log on animation's awful. For the config file on launch, we'll leave that for time being. But I think we make this much more streamlined. Subscribe. And let's start the process. Just my thought process. Let's go MicroWin. What PR is this? 3837. All right, MicroWin 3837. Let's put that in downloads. All righty. And we will get to work. Yeah, so, I mean, I think ESD's pointless in 2025. Yeah, you can actually take an ESD ISO from Microsoft and unpack it and then repack it into a WIM, and it's totally fine. You can still set up Windows that comes in an ESD with a WIM. So there's no reason to repackage it into that more compressed ESD format that takes considerably longer to make. I mean, in the amount of space savings is not as substantial as it once was. Maybe when it was like around 4 gigs for the ISO, it made sense. But I just don't see a world where ESD makes any kind of sense in today's climate. I did see that Blu-rays, actually, the Blu-ray writers, there's a shortage. Apparently, people in Japan were like freaking out about drives, Blu-ray drives, for some odd reason. I'm just buying them all up. I don't know what that was all about. Yeah, they still like using ESD. Man, it just takes forever. I hate how much time it wastes with just a little bit of extra encryption. I don't think I've ever seen it save more than a gig. You know, and the difference between 6 gigs and 7 gigs, like, who cares? When it adds a bunch of time to the install and it adds time to the actual packing of the ISO, I'm just like, just give me the extra gig at that point. Yeah, it mattered back when it was like 4 gigs or you're trying to put it on a DVD. You absolutely had to. I totally get using ESD back then because you're really trying to confine it to that 4 gig space, but there's no amount of magic Microsoft could do to fit as much crap and bloat that they've actually packaged into their system to make it 4 gigs anymore. So to me, the whole ESD option's a bit of a joke. I feel like the people that made it are dead or retired, and the people that are doing it now are just following like a script, and they're just like, well, the old guys here used to do everything in ESD, I guess we should just keep doing that. And I don't think they even know why they're doing it, because to me it doesn't make any sense. Do you know any negative impacts of you using Windows script and iRacing? Looking for ways to reduce OS memory usage. No, I haven't seen anything. The whole point is anytime I notice something to where it has a negative impact for software, usually we don't typically like to apply those tweaks. So like take probably one of the best, like if you wanted to absolutely strip Windows down to the bare minimum, probably the best tool out there is probably Tiny11. Which I know I spoke critical of Tiny11 back when they were distributing the ISO through archive.org, but since then NT Dev has released a Tiny11 builder, and I've definitely softened my stance because that means you can take an official image and build it yourself. And I looked through his code and it was solid. So Tiny11 builder, stripping it down to the absolute nuts and bolts, just the bare minimum, will break things. Will break like the Microsoft Store. Will break some compatibility with other Microsoft products. But if you want the absolute bare minimum, that would be what I would use. But the idea with my utilities and MicroWin and other things is to leave broad compatibility while also having sane defaults. And that's just it. It's not meant to break anything. As soon as I know it breaks something, typically we try to not do that tweak, because I want to leave broad compatibility with all software, except for maybe like a Copilot BS or something like that. We'll obviously remove it still, but typically like third-party software that might be hindered or rely on like a media foundation package, I think it was the last tweak we did that caused some issues with, I think, a few games, or maybe VS Code or Visual Studio, and we rolled that back because of the issue. Yeah, Windows is getting so bloated that people doing serious tasks may shy away from it. Yeah, but Windows is still like the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room. People still need Windows for so many things. Like, I touched on this last stream. Was it with Jake? When Jake did his Linux conversion, and he was doing Cache OS, I was just like, you sweet summer child. It's good to see someone new blood to the grinder. But he was like trying to do like specific Windows programs. I think he was trying to use AutoCAD software, and then I think he also wanted to use some kind of like Adobe style product for editing. And I was like, oh god, the Linux community is so gonna let you down on this one. Why the Linux community loves to like say, oh, Photoshop works fine, all these other products, they work fine, you're not doing it right, you need to use bottles or whatnot. I'm like, no, you idiot. Yeah, you can get the damn thing to run, but you can't have it function properly on everything. It's just not meant to do that. And you either need to convert to something like a FOSS project like GIMP or Glimpse or other things. That's how you do it. You can't use your existing Windows software, especially complex like DRM heavy software like Adobe products, Microsoft Office products, a lot of those things. Yes, the caveat to that is, yeah, you can pick some specific version from like 2018 and might get it kind of functioning, but certain features are just gonna screw things up. That's not it working. That is it working in a specific scenario for a little bit before it breaks. And it's just not a viable solution. It's not like Linux gaming where it has an amazing compatibility layer using Wine and Proton, and it's heavily developed and billions of dollars have been poured into it. No, that is not what Wine is, and you cannot do that. And I keep getting pissed off at Linux people because they tell people Photoshop works. This crappy Windows-based software that has tons of DRM and other things in it works. No, stop doing it. It doesn't. I've gotten it working. I have the knowledge to get it all working, kind of, but it is not the same. And that's the thing I hate about a lot of the Linux crowd is they like to say, oh, it's just going to replace Windows completely. I'm like, nah, not for certain users, man. If you're stuck on Adobe and you've created a career over the past 10 years doing the Adobe suite, you're stuck on Windows, or you need to convert to Mac. Linux is not an option for you, and you can't pretend that it ever will be, or that's the thing, unless Adobe releases a Linux version, which they're not gonna. Yeah, so yeah, just yeah. Photoshop version 6 works. Yeah, that cracked version you got off Pirate Bay, the 2018 version, if with a couple patches and some registry tweaks here and there, and sure enough, it'll load up until you start loading some sub menus, and then those might appear with a black background. But I mean, you can kind of work around it. I get it. But that's not working, guys. That's not the same. It's not the same when it comes to a professional that has mastered his craft using these tools. They're not going to be able to use that crap. That's fine for a hobbyist. It's fine for someone that makes thumbnails and stuff like that for YouTube, sure. Maybe not even then. So, yeah, that's my critique of some of that video. When I saw that at the end, I was like, I know why he's doing it. I did the same thing. I went down the same path, and man, it ends in heartbreak every time. And I'm not going to be the one to tell him. God, Linux community, man. It's hilarious sometimes. Love the passion, though. Gotta love the passion. It's the passionate computer user ever, and I love Linux, man. But there's some nuances to it, and I'm like, y'all are some autistic bastards, I tell you what. Yeah. But I mean, I love, like, when I come over here and I am messing around on here. This is my Linux system, my main system here. It brings me joy. And I can't say that about any other operating system. So don't take this as a critique of Linux. I think Linux is just such a fun system to tinker with and learn. And you can have a very enjoyable and very productive thing depending on your use case. For me, when I'm programming, it blows my mind there's programmers that don't use Linux. I think from a programming standpoint, there's nothing better than Linux. From server perspectives and just how powerful the CLI and just the terminal, Linux terminal is, it's bar none the best. But from a desktop user perspective, man, it's a mixed bag. And that's because it just doesn't have decades of refinement and Q&A and all the things that both Windows and Mac have for the non-savvy computer user. Do you use CachyOS or Arch Linux with the CachyOS kernel? I use Arch Linux with the CachyOS kernel. I actually use Bazzite kernel for a little bit there, and a lot of people don't realize the Bazzite kernel is based off of the CachyOS kernel. Cachy team's done a really good job with the kernel. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to use the CachyOS kernel because it's in the chaotic AUR. Yeah, man, look at this. Yeah, Guinness is going to be knocking down my door any day now. 621 days. With all the crap I've pulled on stream over the past several years, it's amazing. This thing is still working. And I haven't nuked this system in so long. It's kind of amazing. Been using Fedora for 3 years now. Every day I go to work, I get so angry for all the crap errors you get with using Windows. I think that's the thing. I think Windows users should know that Linux is completely different, but it's worth the time investment, because if you can find a workflow that works for you and you get it set exactly how you like it, it is such a great experience. And I never have to worry about my system just up and updating out of the blue. I know it will just always work for me. I never have to question it. And I love that. But it's a journey to get there. And I think that's the thing most people miss. It's a bit heartbreaking for so many people that first couple years of using Linux. But it's an investment that I've really loved. And I honestly, looking back at all the time and how most of my channel is built off of Linux content, especially in the early days, I made so many Linux videos as I was learning. And it was such a fun experience. And I just try to be real with people when they try Linux. And I'm just like, hey, don't treat it like Windows. It's not going to work like Windows. You just need to relearn how to use your computer. And if you don't want to do that, then you're stuck with what Microsoft's going to give you. And you just got to make peace with that. So that's my thought. What have you done to it? What haven't I done to it? I mean, hell, every time I'm like, let's break it. Let's do a system update on stream. Let's just break this sucker. Oh God, you remember when we switched out to CachyOS? We're actually using CachyOS repos because they do, they optimize their binaries so they're a little faster. All right, well, why our Windows VM over here is making the ISO files. Let's see what we got. It does look like this is breaking on that 3 seconds. Commit operation. It looks like it's in an internal loop here. We also have a write error on 614. Cannot rename specific target because it represents path or device name. Yeah, I think we got a bug here. Yeah. Let's retry. Oh, you put a custom scratch path. Those are just broken. Okay, let's just take it out then. Like, okay, let's just remove this whole scratch directory because it causes too many problems. This entire thing needs to be removed if it doesn't work. So let's just remove that entire scratch directory. It'll just be a default of what, temp, I think is what it sends it to. We'll just put it in temp. So we'll get that, put that all in temp, remove the entire scratch directory. The download OSIMD from that, let's just remove that entire option as well. It's either there, and then we can try to grab it from the repo, or not. This is just confusing to folks too. So we remove all these options at the front here and here. Let's streamline this a bit. No reason to make it complicated for folks. Yeah, I will say the Arch team itself has just done such a great job. Like, you got to realize Arch Linux back in the day, hell, just running this, we would have a lot of keyring issues and other things with the updates. Guys, it's just been so clean lately. Oh, and also, yeah, mention that maybe Windows 11 requirements are disabled by default. Yeah, we probably should put that in the description as well. Let me start commenting some of this stuff before I forget. Let's make comments. Remove scratch directory. Custom scratch directory. Scratch directory. And OSCDIMG download option. Auto download or install ADK. Add description that ISO automatically removes Win 11 requirements. What was the other things that we had? Copy to Vin, remove copy to and code referencing this. Okay, and then tweaks. And then tweaks section should be removed. Tab. WPBT done by defaults. Skip logon animation. What are the other two tweaks that were in here? Allow PC to upgrade to Windows 11. Don't care. Convert to ESD. Also remove. Remove. Convert to ESD and upgrade to Win 11 as Win 10 is no longer supported. All right. So we got those. So we're going to remove custom scratch directory and OSDC download option. Just auto download it either from GitHub or install the ADK. Just make sure it's there. We'll go through. Probably the easiest is to download from GitHub, but we could probably get the ADK. I think they've actually improved the ADK install, so it's not like terrible like it was back in the day where it's like you install 1.6 gigs of crap. I think you can actually do it modular now. Add description that it automatically removes Windows 11 requirements. Remove the entire copy to Ventoy action and code referencing it. It's just bloat. And frankly, having people select it, I'm just doing the whole GUI and all that crap with it. It's just not worth it. Tweaks section should be removed. WPBT by done by default. That's essentially a bug in Windows that can be exploited, such as the Asus situation where they had a compromised server and it caused tons of machines to be vulnerable. And frankly, you should not allow any vendor to be loading things at the kernel level on startup. It's just not a good idea ever. And you should never use like Asus Armory Crate or MSI tools or whatever the hell that comes with they're just bad all around. You should never do that. Skip logon animation. Everyone likes getting to the desktop faster. And who cares about hey, we're getting your computer ready and all that junk. And ESDs, just we already talked about, shouldn't be used. We're not using DVDs anymore, and 4 gig USB drives don't work. So just do WIM. Even if it is an ESD format, unpack it, repack it with WIM. There's no problems there. And we're no longer supporting Windows 10, so upgrade to Windows 11 options not needed. I think those are all very good. Yeah. I think that's the way to do it. Just automatically do it for the deployment side of things. Just makes more sense. All right, so let's just do this. Subscribe and start that process again. MicroWin and what is it? 3817? No, 3837. My bad. All right, there we go. And we're off and going again. Could always have just downloaded the deployment tools themselves without anything else. Yeah, we just need to make it all automatic. Yeah, we'll add that to the description as well when we do that. I feel like that's fine. Now, based on this is how the new setup will go. Without all those options in there, it's going to streamline it by a considerable margin, so normal folks shouldn't have any issues. And we're trying to do the default scratch, which is the temp in the app data, local app data, it looks like. And we'll see if this succeeds. This should be pretty straightforward, though. That all makes pretty good sense to me. And sure. I think, okay, cool. There we go. We upgraded our system. We did grab a new Linux kernel. Got all of that. Beautiful. I think I need to still do sudo grub mk config output to boot grub see it, or actually yeah grub.cfg just to rebuild our boot menu as well. I keep forgetting to add this as a pacman hook so it'll automatically do it. Not that any of my not that any of the kernels changed or anything, so it was probably fine not to rebuild, but probably would be good to do a pacman hook after doing any kind of mk init action, which would be triggered whenever a Linux kernel update happens. So is the kernel from Chaotic or CachyOS repo? I think the kernel is actually from the CachyOS. No, it might be from Chaotic, actually. CachyOS repos take priority because they build their packages using an optimization for newer systems, so it works. Binaries just run faster, essentially, by like 10 or 20%. Because modern architecture works good, but typical stock Linux doesn't use those binaries because of compatibility. If you don't have that, it would make everything fail. So that's why we switched to CachyOS repos for a lot of it. We still have the legacy Arch repos there for packages that aren't in CachyOS, but we're still using stock Arch, just heavily modified to essentially be like this weird bastard child of Arch that is heavily reliant on Cachy. If that makes sense. Take it easy, Joan. What do we got? Is there a way to run MicroWin under Linux? No. Is it safe to enable Chaotic on a CachyOS install? I don't know. I've never actually used CachyOS. I've installed it. I've made videos about it, but I've never actually used CachyOS as my main system, so I can't really speak to it. I'm at the point in my Linux journey where I will either use Debian, Arch, or Fedora. I don't see a point in installing any other distro. Typically, every other distro is just based on those three with just some opinions. Like, people overcomplicate Linux a lot and think, oh my god, there's thousands of distros, but in reality, it's just those three. I know there's other ones, and there's a lot of other things, but those three make up probably, I don't know, 99% of all desktop installs. It's something insane like that. Because you got to remember, if you go downstream from those distros, you're including all of those guys. So that's your RHELs, that's your Ubuntus, that's everything. So in my eyes, there's really 3 Linux distros, and there's nothing else. What do you want? You want really stable old packages that don't really change except maybe once every 6 to 12 months. And the Linux kernel is going to be a little old, so as long as you're not using like bleeding edge hardware, Debian might be for you. If you're wanting something that's a little newer, like the newer rolling release and getting those newer Linux kernels, but you want a little bit more tested packages on the back end, a little older, maybe Fedora's for you. If you want the newest hotness of everything, well, you're going to want an Arch. Arch is amazing. And honestly, Arch is really not unstable anymore. I mean, hell, I've been running it for this. I mean, I've felt comfortable essentially on every stream just doing updates, just be like, hey, let's break it. Let's try some stuff. Let's break some stuff. And inevitably, it works just fine. So, I need destruction. Could you imagine me use Debian on stream all the time? People would get so bored. Oh, it would be such a boring existence. It'd just be like, hey, look, my system works. You want to do an update? Yeah, sure. Maybe there's a security patch. Maybe there's not. But it doesn't really change. It's just like, here's what you get. So like, ooh, do a major update every like 2 years or something. But yeah, Debian is super boring. So that's why I was like, I need that bleeding edge, man. At least Arch sometimes gives me some excitement, and I need that little bit of excitement in my life. That's why I use Arch. I miss the days when you nuked your system on stream. You know, Angry Scotsman. That's an amazing name, by the way. I think I miss it too sometimes. That's why I still like have hope. Like I'm gonna do a full system update on stream. Maybe today's the day. Could be. You never know. Maybe you should build a bastard Linux with Fedora kernel, Debian window manager, and Arch packages. Well, you could do some fun stuff too. Like, it's kind of insane what you can do with DistroBox. DistroBox is pretty cool. That's fun. I remember I covered something that was before DistroBox. There was actually a version of Linux. I think it was like Bedrock Linux or something. I could be wrong here. Was it Bedrock Linux? It allows user to mix and match components for other typically incompatible distributions. Yeah. So it does Debian core utils, Arch's Edge kernel, and then Void's run it in its system. It also uses like Arch's AUR. It can use Ubuntu's libraries and CentOS. It's crazy. Like Bedrock Linux, I remember I talked briefly to the guy that wrote it. And it was not a pleasant interaction. Because what happened was I tried Bedrock Linux, but I think I'd only been on desktop Linux for maybe a year or two. And it was like Bedrock's Linux version like 0.2 or something. It was like really, really, really early days. And like the 0.7 was released on 2018. Anyways, I felt bad because my whole system broke into 1,000 pieces. Obviously with that type of thing going on, that's what's going to happen. Especially with someone that doesn't know what all those systems intertwining and stuff does. Anyways, I broke it. I made a video about it, and then everyone that searched Bedrock Linux saw my video and was like, "Oh my god, I'm never installing that distro." So he reached out to me essentially saying, "Hey, I worked on this project for like 2 years, and your stupid YouTube video ruined it." And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, bro." I pulled that whole video down. It doesn't even exist anymore because I felt so bad. I was like, I didn't mean that. I guess I don't want to shit on someone else's creation, especially if it could have been me using it wrong. So yeah, that was early days of me trying Linux, and I remember running into that distro. And I was like, sure, let's just. Every other week I was trying out a new distro back then, and it was funny. And I remember that one. That was a lot of pain. But it made a funny video. But at the end of the day, I don't want to discourage someone from trying a distribution. I think a lot of distributions are kind of pointless. Don't get me wrong, at least for me. And I think people should understand that most of them are just forks or downstream from somebody else's creation. Like 95% of that distro's creation isn't them. It's just an upstream or a downstream arch. The arch team is the one that you should be praising, not them. And there's some nuance to that, mind you. Like Ubuntu has done a lot, and it does modify Debian pretty heavily, but still Ubuntu wouldn't exist without Debian. And CachyOS wouldn't exist without Arch, even though CachyOS has done a lot of modifications, but it wouldn't exist without the Arch team. So that's why I always heap praise on the granddaddies, or the people that I think fathered most of these projects, which is, again, Arch, Fedora, and Debian. Those are the three that really matter the most to me and the Linux community, in my opinion. If you know, you know. Will you ever go back to Linux from scratch? Probably as a goof or a funny thing, you know? When I did the live streams when we did Linux from scratch, it was a lot of fun. DistroBox replaced Bedrock Linux. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, DistroBox did such a good job of it. You can install it on any system and use it. So it was cool. But I think DistroBox was heavily inspired by Bedrock Linux. I know I keep missing Slackware. I know. Maybe one day. Maybe one day we do that. All right, here we go. It did work this time. Just dropping it on the old desktop. It's copying. It's done. Boom. Finished. ISO created. Perfect. Man, look at Coding Wonder. He's already going to town on those suggestions. What a man. What a good dude. All right, so let's test out this. This security update keeps failing. Be curious to see why that is. Alrighty, let's go desktop. Let's grab this. We'll toss it into images. Arch, Debian, Fedora, everything are kings, and everything else are devils. Couldn't have said it better myself. Hey, Paul, thanks for dropping by, man. Use Edge, best browser. Oh my god. Drops in the stream just to troll me. I see how it is. Cheers, man. Cheers. Nah, when it comes to Linux distributions, if it works for you, that's all that matters. Just find something that works for you. I think every distribution, no matter what you install, you're going to have to customize to your tastes. Whatever that is, and whatever gets you to the point where you're like, okay, I just need to customize this a little bit. It has a good starting spot for me, and I want to customize and do these things. That's what you should use. What that is for you varies from person to person. MicroWin is considerably, let's look at this. It's only 6.4 gigs. We dropped almost a full gig of crap. How about that? That's pretty awesome. Nothing wrong with Ubuntu. Man. Do people still use Ubuntu? I never miss a moment to shit on Ubuntu. One of my first videos, if you don't know, one of my first YouTube videos that got almost 1 million views was me saying Ubuntu is the devil. I think it's still like members only. Maybe it's, I don't know. Did I make it public again? I don't even remember. It was pretty funny though. Ooh, that's not mounted. Really? It's there. What? Oh, there he goes. My bad. Needed a refresh. All right, there's our 3837 PR. Now, when we finalize this PR, we're just streamlining it. So all the options I picked here will be the defaults. Let's just toss 24 gigs at it. Everyone has 24 gigs of RAM, right? Give it 69 gigs of disk space. Call it Win11 MicroWin test. Alrighty. Change our topology here for this VM. Let's go 16 virtual CPUs. Gravy, TPM. Let's just get TPM2. Begin. I know, I'm just playing with you guys. I'm trolling over here. Ah, you know me. What VM Manager is virtual machine manager backed by QEMU. If you've heard of Proxmox, this is essentially what it would use on the back end. This is just like the straight from the horse's mouth style VM. You can do anything with QEMU. I absolutely adore it. And it's free. Yeah, trolling is healthy. You know, you gotta have fun in life, you know? Don't take yourself too seriously. That's just a boring life, in my opinion. Oh, did Pop finally move to Cosmic? Really, Tribal Chief? Man, I have hopes for Cosmic, you know? When I tried the alpha, I think it was like alpha 1 or 2, is one of the very first iterations of Cosmic. I was like, you know what? This is pretty darn good. I don't even think they finished the display manager at that point. And I was like, I was impressed by it. I know the Pop team hates me, but rightfully so. I have shit on Pop OS so much over the past years. But I do think it's pretty cool. They're making a whole different desktop environment. Yes, it's based on Rust, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought, man, this is pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed Cosmic. I tried Cosmic on various Linux on Intel. It crashed every few minutes every time. Yeah, black. But it was memory safe though. Oh man, the infamous Linus stream where he nuked was it Xorg back then? I think he nuked Xorg. And then it just gave him a CLI from that point forward. That was, talk about an iconic moment in Linux desktop. Linus nuking it from Pop OS's dependency bug with apt. Like, I was also wondering, I was like, why the hell is the Pop OS team messing with apt? You know? That sucks. Ugh. Because what happened, if you're unfamiliar, Linus, not Torvalds, but the actual LTT, Linus Sebastian, he went and did Pop OS, and he went to install Steam, couldn't get it installed through the store, and then he went to the CLI, as one does in Linux, pulls up the terminal and went sudo apt install Steam, and then it said, hey, you're about to nuke Xorg and Xorg's everything. If you don't know what Xorg is, or Wayland, was it Wayland? Yeah. Either way, it was that's what renders the display. So you can't have a GUI without it. And it said, are you sure you want to do this? If you do, you must type do as I say. So Linus, of course, was like, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, well, I don't know what that is, but yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, do as I say. I want Steam. Click enter. Poof. Everything went up, and he was like, uh-oh. Well, that's not good. And then he was sitting there doing a video on his phone afterwards, showing the CLI in the background, and I was just on the floor when I was watching. I was like, this is peak entertainment here. I love that. But a lot of people crapped on him at the time, and I appreciate him being as vulnerable as he was during that video recording and not relying on other people. And he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna wing it. Let's go. Because most people wouldn't have those resources to go back on, and I could see that. It was pretty funny. And at the end of the day, it should have never happened. It should never have been programmed like that. But the rest is history. It's classic, man. It was classic. Yeah, I even did a reaction video on it. I did. But it was not entirely his fault. I even said so in reaction video at the time. God, I hope he does another Linux challenge. I loved it so much when he did the Linux challenge. I have a feeling Microsoft's going to screw things up so much in 2026 that he's going to do another Linux run. Oh, I'd pay money. I would fly to Canada and help him if he wanted for free. I would go do it just to be part of that. That would be hilarious and fun all at the same time. His wife has been Linuxing on her channel. Really? Yvonne has a channel? I didn't even know that. I was wondering if WinUtil would support custom download paths like D programs per app. I don't know on that, Mr. Wise. Typically because we use WinGit for most of the everything. If WinGit added that option, it would be fairly simple to also add that functionality. But yeah. Like the app installer is essentially just like a front end for WinGit. So if WinGit does add custom paths into their capabilities, we could add something like that fairly simply. This is taking a little bit longer. Usually it's 5 minutes to install Windows. This usually goes pretty fast though. I think once we hit 100 here on the file installation, it might be because it's pulling it from my network. Once this finishes, we should be good. Should be golden. I remember, what was it? Did we do it last stream where we did the official ISO and it did like updates? It took like an hour and a half to install Windows. That was insane. That was actually pure insanity. This MicroWin should take about 5 minutes typically on a system. 5 to 10 minutes depending on the system itself. But after this, I would imagine we have probably about 2 more minutes for the till desktop. So it'll hit this. It'll go up to about 100. Once that's finished, it'll fly through the rest of these, maybe 30 seconds before it finishes up, reboots, and then typically about 2 minutes later, it'll be on the desktop. Any recommendations for a Firefox browser? A lot of people do like Zen, but it wasn't for me either. I just don't like Firefox, man. It's been that way forever for me. I know a lot of people have always been like, come on, you got to try Firefox. And I tried Florp for a little bit. Florp is Firefox based, and that was okay. Florp was actually not a bad browser. If you're a big fan of Firefox and you want a Firefox thing, I say give Florp a shot. I enjoyed that. But obviously I didn't stick to it. And hell, I'm just using Google Chrome now because I'm just tired of switching browsers. Most people use Brave, I think, is probably the de facto standard that most people recommend. But I don't really enjoy any browser. There's no browser I'm like, oh my god, you gotta try this browser. Yeah. I'm on. Finish up already. Oh man, I remember the Vivaldi days. Alright, we're to the reboot. And let's see what the startup looks like. Nobody uses Opera. Unless they just don't know any better. I never miss a moment to shit on Opera. Can you install uBlock on Chrome anymore? Yeah, well, uBlock Lite. It's not as good, but it does an alright job. As best of a job as you can do. Oh god, Norton released a browser. Ugh, I can't even keep up with the browser spam. So many browsers. There's actually a shocking amount of people that like Edge. Believe it or not. There's actually quite a big fan base to Microsoft's Edge. Yeah, I would use Edge over Opera as well. That definitely says something. Oh man. Alright, we should be hitting the desktop pretty soon. Ugh. What other PRs do we have while we're sitting here waiting for this to load? Oh yeah, so this is a new tweak coming in Server 2025. It improves input-output of NVMe drives. I wanted to test this a little bit more. I wouldn't put it in the essential category. This should probably go into advanced tweaks. I hate our ordering system. God, I gotta switch the ordering system of the JSON files too. Mental note. Enable native NVMe. No. This should probably be advanced tweaks. I'm just not sure. I'm hesitant to add a tweak like that because on older versions it could cause some issues. This will fetch the latest release tag. Yeah. So we had a whole bunch of lines to determine the release or the IRM, that's invoke rest method, of this. You could actually make this even shorter and just to do IRM and then this entire expression. Before, God, I don't know what I was doing here. This is kind of crazy. Although there is no self-elevation with this on the shell side of things. Either way, it doesn't really matter. This looks better in almost every way. Much simpler, easier to go. Let's just squash and merge this. It's just changing the WinDev release. Not very many people use it, maybe a couple hundred a month. So it's that right there, that command. Or if you download it, you could just directly execute it. Let's squash and merge that. Oh man, I miss Netscape. Ah man, Netscape Navigator. Ah, those are good times. Those are glory days of browsers. Man, Netscape got done dirty. Yeah, this is fine. This was just replacing that, renaming existing profile, and then just grabbing the setup and launching the setup script for the PowerShell. Need to check that really fast. I will say the setup script for this is taking a lot longer. Let's see here. Alright, setup, run, install nerd fonts, profile directory. Yeah, so we did actually change this. I actually got a PR on the PowerShell profile for PS5 capabilities and PS7. So yeah, this takes care of everything. There it goes. It's a little longer than 5 minutes. That was more like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. I don't know. But here is your MicroWin. Look at all. Pretty solid though. See, this is how Windows should come from Microsoft, in my humble opinion. I like how it's dark theme by default from the first time run from Coding Wonders 2. There's some good tweaks here. I would probably get rid or unpin these guys. Yeah, that's just the resolution. So I would probably change that. Yeah. Oh, thank you, my God. All right, love you. I got substance. Don't worry, it's not a pork chop this time, guys. All right. Let's go to tweaks. Turn off that. Recommendation, snap window, snap flyout, snap assist. No. Task view, center. Oh, that's broken, huh? Oh, I think it is. Huh. Yeah. Oh, no. There it goes. Just took a little bit. What's the startup here look like? 140. It'd probably drop it by 20 or 30 processes. Let's just see a basic tweaks run on a fresh install as well. Oh, I need to try Helium Browser. I've actually heard good things about that. Just do standard. I'll disable hibernation since this isn't a laptop. Run that. All right, let's see what we get on reboot here. We're using 2 processors too. Oh my god. What happened with that? I must have screwed something up on the... Oh, that's what happened. Oopsies. My bad. No wonder it took so long to install. We only had 2 cores. It's like an old dual core at that point. Oh man, what were we thinking? Yeah, 2 threads instead of 16. Well, 2 threads is fine because you do 2 times 8 cores and then it ends up being. So we did, it was an 8 or 9 minute install because we were using two threads essentially. So if you look at it now, yeah, so we got 16 virtual processors instead of 2. Yeah, we had 2 processors before. Processors is a lot better. That's down. Memory usage is down. CPU utilization will probably fall off a cliff here in a second. Once it gets settled in, take this guy, unpin, unpin, unpin. And probably would also take like the search box, hide it. No reason to do that. So then you have your nice clean on the left, nothing here, no recommendations. All of this is fine. Now you do notice there's still quite a bit happening in the background on a fresh setup. There's not much I can do here. Let's see what pops up. See if there's anything that installs after letting it idle for a minute or 2. WebView 2, believe it or not, is used by a lot of programs as well. So let's go here. You got CPU, memory. It's settled down into like still the low hundreds. Kind of what to expect with a Windows system though. Feels good, looks good.
still very, very capable. All right. So that's pretty solid, guys, I gotta say. Let's start up our pass-through. Oh, wait. Before we can do that, we need to reboot the whole system. We upgraded our kernel. It's going to be a couple weeks before I get my permanent crown. So I got a temp crown right now, gaming. And, you know, that's okay. So I just can't eat, like... I got some sriracha nuts. That would end badly if I tried to do that on a temp. My dentist would be very upset with me. I'd probably be very upset with myself, too. But that, yeah. Yeah. Well, let's just start this stuff up and... Alright, alright, alright. I still have like this weird bug where my network doesn't, or it's actually a Chrome bug. I wonder if Chromium has the same issue. Probably. But my inside system doesn't have the same weird delay. Like there's an artificial delay of like several seconds. Kind of weird. Anywho. Do you recommend using MicroWin or debloating an existing Windows 11 install? If it's a fresh install, obviously use MicroWin. But if you're debloating existing install, just WinUtil as well. The idea is you can do both. MicroWin, I think, still gives a better experience if it's a fresh install. You just don't have as much crap, but, you know, c'est la vie. All right. Pull up old Windows. We're back. Where were we on the PRs? I think we were very close. Very close. Oh, actually, I got the documentation website working again. We brought it back into the main repo under docs, thanks to Calum. Let's see what else we have. The PowerShell. I thought we got the profile merged. Yeah, approved. Yeah, we already had the PS5 exemption. So let's merge this in. I'm going to do a couple more PRs. We'll do a compile just to make sure. Here's the update or uninstall. Should have been one PR, yeah. Yeah. We're just removing the profile itself instead of like fonts, Zoxide. I mean, honestly, those are such small installs either way. Oh my Posh, I think it was. There's a few other things in there, but this is way over. It was written. It looks like it was written by an LLM anyways. And we're just consolidating all those lines down to essentially 3 lines. It was like 200 lines. Yeah, 228 lines. That's just ridiculous. We'll remove all that. Continue debloating. Install Chocolatey. Now this one I'm not certain on. I wanted to take a look at this. I think we're taking a look. Yeah. I wanted to try the Copilot review. So anytime I like might doubt a PR, it's kind of nice to have AI also double check it. And remove manual execution policy and security protocol configuration. Simplified install of a single web IRWR with basic parsing and pipe to an IX. I don't think that's going to cause any issues. Yeah, there's no integrity checking or authentication, but honestly, it's coming from chocolatey.org, so the risk there is if someone is on a compromised system and goes to run it, and chocolatey.org is like redirected elsewhere, there wouldn't be an integrity check. But that system would already be compromised at that point. What's the suggestions? Oh, wow. It'll go ahead and make it? Nah, let's not do that. And let's see what the code looks like. That looks pretty basic to me. Let's go. Chocolatey's been around for, God, long time. I want to say at least 15 years. Something like that. 15 to 20, I would say. I'm going to guess 2009. Let's see. Ah, March 2011. A little bit off. That's cool. Rob Reynolds is the person who created it. Thanks, Gemini. Alrighty. Oh man, Scoop. Yeah, Scoop's a lot newer. It was just a lot later to the game. Alright, tweaks order. So I really want to change how this works. I hate our current ordering system. It uses like this hexadecimal bullshit that's just awful. Frankly, having this order at all as a key is just stupid. The code itself should just go, hey, the title of this is Debloat Edge or whatever it might be, right? It's a D. Let's just put it in alphanumeric order. Why do we have this order tab? It's just awful. So anyways, on my list of things to do, he's changing the order. I'm sure whatever his order is better than the crap I already had, as sometimes things get out of order in there. But I need to just completely revamp the whole thing. I just haven't yet. Check out this cool feature. What was happening? Have a tweak for hardening features. Really? Yeah, that would be interesting. There's actually something called harden tools. Let me put a from back in the day. This reduces that. This was, I think, a C# project, right? No, it was written in Go. Harden tools, though, what it does is it removes a lot of the attack vectors that happen in Windows, such as like VB script, that's the Windows script host. You have Office macros and other stuff it can disable. Obviously, if you use a lot of Office macros, don't disable that. A lot of Adobe crap that is easy to exploit as well. It disables a lot of that stuff. And it'll even disable PowerShell. So let's say you're running my script and you disable this, you're going to have a bad time. The script will cease to work because you won't have PowerShell anymore. And it goes through and kind of cleans up a lot of this. It's really good for hardening security and removing attack surfaces, but it can also have adverse side effects too. But it's a cool project. Let's see. Let's just reply to this. Security. Pretty neat security software at removing a lot of Windows attack surfaces. Alrighty, and yeah, this was adding hibernation into the standard tweaks. The reason why I don't is people don't understand hibernation very well, and if you run it on a laptop, I don't want it to disable hibernation by default, because most laptop users will need hibernation because they don't use standby, or they might use standby and then all of a sudden they pick out their laptop from their battery and it's dead. You're like, damn it. And then you should have used hibernation, which would save everything from memory into a file. And then when you boot it back up, it takes that file and puts it back into memory. And it's as if you never shut down your PC. So that's the idea. I'm actually going to close this one because we don't really want hibernation default by that. But I don't want to make a laptop versus desktop thing. I would rather just have a standard one. This removes the AI settings from the settings menu. This isn't quite deployed yet, and honestly I think we're gonna bundle this up into a full-blown just remove all AI crap button. A lot of people, it's been brought up that they use the AI what is that, AI removal Microsoft. It's all over the internet right now. I won't use it because of how it messes. Here it is. Yeah, it has 7,000 stars right now. It's getting a lot of traction. But the problem when I looked at the code behind this one was they mess with the CVS store and install packages into your system. I fundamentally disagree with that. I think if you're going to remove stuff from Microsoft Windows, you shouldn't be injecting new code into the system. It should only remove stuff using official Microsoft tooling. And the fact it's installing packages, and I think you can actually see it in the repo here, it sees what architecture you are, and then it installs these packages directly into them using cab files. And I don't know, man. That just seems yeah. It seems kind of dicey is all. And it's a lot of cab files too, to where I'm just like, just makes me feel bad. So I don't know exactly. Let's see. Let's extract to see how big these things are. I don't think they're very big. I think they're like dummies set up so the AI software can't reinstall using that. Just based on the naming convention here, like the core AI recall experience and everything. So I think these get set in and then basically locking the CVS store for those. I just feel like that's going to have some adverse effects down the road. Could be wrong though. Let's copy it. So they're all 1 kilobyte, except for this guy right here. So here's the nested file with the actual data. Anyways, I don't really feel like messing with all of this, but I did see this piece of software that's very, very popular right now, and I just needed to dive more into it. And I'm not a security researcher or anything. It just seems like the wrong way of going about doing it. That's all I'm saying. There's got to be a better way than just using the component-based servicing store and locking those packages by putting other packages there. Could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Yeah, we should actually open those up and let's just open it up on stream. Sure, let's explore it a little bit. Because I am curious. Have you looked at these at all? Oh, nope. Where is my, yeah, let's just open it up in VS Code, sure. Let's just word wrap it, see what we get. Yeah, it doesn't look like much is here. It's not like he's injected anything nasty. There's nothing that I can see. It does remove all the AI garbage from what I know. And we're going to need something like that. And we're going to institute something like this in WinUtil. Yeah, it looks like all of it is the same. It's all the same, like XML style. What's this catalog here? It says it won't open. How do you read a catalog file? I don't think that counts as a. No, that's not a archive. How we came so far, now we can't go back to the world before AI existed. I mean, I think AI is just often miscategorized. You know, you can't just put it in everything. It's kind of, most of it's just a marketing ploy. You remember how everyone was like, the cloud, everything's the cloud. It was like the early 2010s, mid 2010s, and then like the late 2010s to early 2020s. Blockchain, everything's blockchain, remember? And it's just most, like 90% of the AI crap isn't AI. And it's just a marketing tool to extract money from the consumer or to position yourself better so you can sell more stock on the NASDAQ. You know, so you can sell more shares, and that is really what it's used for in a majority of use cases in today's world. But the actual like models, the LLM models that are being utilized that are actual like AI as it's intended, you know, there's some good use cases for it. It's not the savior most people make it out to be, but it's also not terrible. It's a good tool, is the best way to put it. It's a good tool that doesn't do everything, but it does make my life a lot easier, and it does make it a lot faster. But yeah, most of it's just meh. It's like the .com bubble is the best way to put it. This doesn't look that bad. I don't see anything in here that's like awful now that I've actually opened up that cap file. I still don't like how that CVS store is done though. I'll keep an eye on it though. I'm gonna star this, and we're gonna circle back to it for sure. Anyways, I'm not gonna accept this one for the removing the AI setting because we're gonna do like an all-in-one tool, I think. You know? Something kind of similar to that, but I don't want to mess with the CVS store. What we'll do is we'll do something that doesn't go to that extreme. Oh god, that's right. This looked like a dupe. Need to look at that. Line 40. Didn't notice that, but I'll change that. PR not to have that part. Oh yeah, I just saw. It was weird because we were changing this section. This was a keyword, but the weird part is this Seuss rule. His entry to fix it put it at a keyword, which is 64-bit, and D word is 32-bit. It doesn't feel like this actually works, I think, is the thing, because I think this was, let's just see. This is the feedback frequency. Let's go to that registry key. I need that registry key. Yeah, so frequency of feedback notifications. So period in nanoseconds is a keyword, defines a time frame, and the count is applied. Oh. Yeah, so the key itself is different. So this is number of swifts in period, and this is period in nanoseconds. I think this is incorrect though. I don't think this he's removing it, but this was a different, so the key is under rules. And this should be period in nanoseconds is a valid one, I do believe. Let's check this. Just double check. Yeah, no. Find the period, and that's going to be a keyword value. Never is 0. Always delete. Automatic delete. Okay. Yeah, no, this is actually incorrect PR. This needs to exist because you do have a D word and you do have a keyword. The keyword's the nanoseconds, and this one is the D word. So no, that's not a valid PR. All right, moving on. It does give an error on. But it does not exist by default. Alright, let's reopen it then. Shoot. Well, I could see where the confusion was. No. Let's bring that back. After you close a PR, does it delete it? Son of a... Biscuit Eater does it. Oh, yeah, I was like, nah, it doesn't delete it. Oh yeah, let's reopen it. Never mind. Let's just squash and merge. Screw it. It's fine. If it was erroring, it's fine to remove. Fix some original types in the tweak section. Yeah, this was right. So this one, it depended on the types. I wasn't certain on the other types that might be affected by system setups. So these are set to automatic. I think this is Bluetooth authentication. Key ISO. I think it's fine. Terminal service. I don't know how many people even use terminal services that much anymore. I mean, still RDP is still pretty prevalent, but I don't know if anybody's... I mean, I use terminal services all the time, but... yeah, removing WLAN's good. Removing net login's good. Shouldn't mess with either of those services. Yeah, you know, I think that's fine. It's just a couple to manual, some to automatic. Like inventory service to automatic, because that's the default, is fine. Alright, let's go. I like that. I like those changes. Really, the only ones that concerned me was net logon and wireless LAN service, which is wireless. I could see that screwing something up depending on each. It would matter on the system that it's installed or configured on, because those could be different per system. The other ones are fine. Yeah. Yeah, RDS has some niche stuff, but I don't use it as much anymore. It's kind of where I'm at. I don't really do too much RDP, except on Windows servers. I still RDP onto them quite often, but not... I'm trying to think on a home side of things or a workstation level. I really haven't messed with it that much. Update Python. What's Python at now? Python 3.14. All right, yep. Beautiful. All right, gravy. All right, we're going to create a release today. Let's do it. We are through most of our PRs. I left a couple open just because I was like, we want to tweak or massage these a little bit, or maybe even wait a little bit in time. It's something I want to do, but just not right now. So let's fix that. And I know Coding's still working on that update to do that. Well, he might be finished. Let's check. Check on him. It's a big, big PR. Well, I'm gonna check this another day. We'll check it. We'll check it here in a bit, because I still got to. Then I got to redo the entire checks for it, and I just don't feel like reinstalling Windows again today. Yeah, we need to wait for the NVMe tweak. Still nowhere near stable. That's kind of where I thought too. Only the scratch path is left. Okay, yeah. We'll get that done coding, and then I'll test it. Look at me. I told you. I test it, and I tested it. We're doing good though. We're doing good. We'll go ahead and do an alpha. We're just gonna do a development release today, not a full release. So we're not gonna switch to a stable release or anything crazy. So only a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand people will run it, but not like the usual. The normal release is still getting 20 or 30,000 runs a day. So I really like to have that dev release going and marinating for several weeks. And it also gives me time to, like, I still want to slip that MicroWin one in probably next week. But let's get a dev branch going so people can see all these changes. And we can test out the dev. We did have a dev PR from Gabby that we can try out. All right, and let's do a compile run. Also, just thinking out loud, these toggle buttons suck. Can't reliably read the registry values and properly set them. I think we have to switch these out. I think we gotta switch them out to like checkboxes or something. Because it does not read them. Just thinking out loud there. Yeah. Disable Windows option. Yeah, we need an install Linux button, right? Dude, we have a lot of contributors over the years. Holy crap. Okay, so we got that. Let's go to action, see where it's at. Still going through, let it work through the rest of the unit testing, and then that should all come up roses, and then we'll draft our pre-release. Yeah, I think it was Elon Musk that was like, I think he was grading programmers based on the lines of code that they wrote. But man, I don't know. If I was in charge and I was hiring people to program, I would give them existing code and I would judge their productivity by how clean, how well they clean up the code. And if they could clean up the code really well, make it work more efficient, then to me, that would be the definition of a good programmer. It was easy to read, it was clean, and they cleaned up old junk code or things that were just not needed. That, to me, that is the definition of a good programmer. Not by the lines of code that is written, but more from the almost the lines of codes they remove. But I don't want to go that far because then you can take it too far and then you get these weird multi-line nasty abominations. But if it's really easy to read and they're able to clean up the code, that's the definition of a good program in my book. Anyways, let's go pre-release. No, it was working, King Root. It was just, we were running on 2 cores, so it wasn't actually updating in real time. As soon as we closed the tweak, and as it like went down, you could see the center bar menu move to the left. So it's because we were running in 2 cores and it was just dog slow. I was just doing it from memory. I was like, oh, okay, click here. So it was hard to see probably on stream as it happened. But yeah, just imagine working on like a freaking netbook and running tweaks. And essentially that's what we were doing. And I was like, man, this is kind of laggy and not working that slow. It's still functional though. I mean, that really speaks to MicroWin and the tweaks themselves being able to run on that kind of crappy performance. So that's kind of funny. All right, pre-release is made. We are good to go. Houston, we have liftoff. So we should have our new release under releases. I'll go ahead and delete this draft. So this is our stable release is still the older one. I'm gonna let the dev branch sit for probably this weekend. And then once everybody runs the dev branch, we should be fine. This one we went, I think I put this stable last week. So damn, that's a lot of runs in just a week though. Because it was sitting in dev branch for like a good week or two. Damn, we're up to, that's 285,000 runs in a week or two. Still a lot. That's a lot of runs. Holy crap. Well, anyways, we'll do that. Get this cleaned up a bit, and that's looking good. Yeah, new Christmas systems probably. I was like, man, that seems even excessive in growth than what I thought. So that's solid. Next branch, next release we need to do is WinOneShot, actually. So WinOneShot is in a really good spot. This is version 0.3. So versioning has gotten better from me. Nothing clean. Great. Now I want to do a release. Let's just steal our pre-release script from... Ooh. Oh, okay. Let's go. WinUtil. Let's go into our GitHub. Oh, you know what? Our issues and pull request template. I wanted to change this too while we're here. Description. Issues. Let's get rid of this. Checklist is fine. Type of change is fine. So what you do if you make a new pull request, you can use this template, fill in the description, and then once you submit it, these turn into checkboxes, and then from your PR you can just tick what you need to do. Go click. You don't have to actually do this and none of that business. You want the template to be as clean as possible. I feel like this is much better than the old one. The other one I think was just too convoluted and not very many people were using it. So let's just update that real fast. Update PR template. Before I forget, I meant to do this. Anyway, so now the PR template's going to be much cleaner. I think the other one was just too much. Too many things because nobody was using it. So let's go workflows, pre-release. Oh, that's right. I forget how I got this. Okay. Let's, you know what? We're going to do it from scratch. It's not worth pulling in. All right, GitHub. We got nothing here. All right. Create a manually triggered GitHub release action. That's not bad. Autofill version and .NET version using the FS project file. Better, still not great. Autofill the actually generate release notes automatically. Using GitHub. That doesn't look right. That's fine. Pre-release through. Well, actually, we're at such early days of this project. We'll just make everything we'll just make everything there. Okay. Test this for any errors. All right. Let's try it. I remember a year ago when I first had the idea of this. Yeah, it was a cute idea. One second. Before we do this. Does it create the tag? Oh, it does not. This is wrong. Where's the tag? We should create a tag for the release number according to GitHub documentation. Yes. Come on. Okay. There we go. Need that too. All right. Now let's test it. Are we ready? Let's give it a whirl. Most streamers don't eat on stream, but you eat every stream. Gotta have the fuel to work out, man. Most streamers just sit there and play video games all day. Let their body wither away into weak nothing. Me, I only stream for like 2-3 hours, then I go work out. Am I saying I'm better than most of those streamers? Absolutely. But they're young. They're young. They can afford to let their bodies go a little bit. I'm a bit older, where if you don't work out 40 plus, you're not gonna end up well, man. You're gonna end up in an early grave. So I gotta eat, gotta have the fuel, so then I can work out, and then it's fine. But if you don't, you're gonna die early. Hate to be morbid, but it's the truth. What? Oh. It's my hot reload that's getting in the way. Darn it. Yeah, you got to keep drinking water. There's a lot of things. I think, God, I keep seeing like news articles. What should you do? Strength training or walking or 10,000 steps a day? And it's like, no, man, like the secret sauce is pretty simple. Don't eat like a trash panda, you know? Get proper protein and decent macro balance. It's hard. That's probably the hardest thing most people fail at. Get some proper sleep, right? 8 hours plus. Sorry, guys. That's just what you need. And then, third thing, you need to go work out. And that entails not just killing yourself in the gym for 30 minutes, not going for like 3 days, but just going and doing something that builds muscle. Whatever that is for you, that you find that out. But that's like strength training. And then the fourth thing, you got to be active every day. That means you got to go walk or do something. You can't just sit at your computer all day. That's it. Exercise, proper nutrition, sleep. Simple, but it's not. And it's hard. Most people, they just want to go get medicated and not do anything. And then live longer. Which, honestly, modern medicine does cater to that. By a good margin. Alrighty, what do we got? What was doing? Conditional configuration debug. Okay, good. Cool. Yeah, you gotta walk. I think that's important. I think you also need some kind of strength conditioning, too. Like I said, I think it's a combination of all those things. You can't just do one of them, though. Alright, that should be gravy. Let's reload. Create release. Run. I think just don't eat too much of any macro is a good policy. It's funny, you know, a lot of people, I think also most people are just, at least here in America, I can't speak for like overseas, but it's just, we were ingrained at a young age to really fear a lot of things that just were so silly. Like most people, especially in the 90s growing up, like there was this massive fear campaign about fat in foods. And I'm not saying go eat a bunch of fatty foods, but like you got to realize when you're having products tell you it's fat free or it has to tell you it's healthy, chances are it's not. You know, it's like one of those things. Fat free does not mean you can't get fat from it. You know, a lot of times they end up substituting that fat for sugar. And I think sugar and carbs are like the two main killers of most people here. This is the rough thing. So most people fear like fat. And like, I'm getting fat because I'm eating too much fat. And I'm like, no. You're probably eating too much sugar. And some of that sugar is probably being come because you're on a carb heavy diet too. So it's like, hey, I get it, man. That shit's delicious. I'm addicted to that crap too. I feel it. But yeah, man, it's not good for you. All right. Yeah, natural fats. And you need those too. Like fat is a source of energy too. So some people are trying to work out and do well, and then they're cutting out like all fats, but they're still heavy on carbs, and then it's a bad mix for them. I'm like, eesh. A good balance, you know. For me personally, since I work out a lot, I try to do 40% protein, 30% carbs, 30% fats. And the carbs, I try and make sure they're not complex, like not coming from like potato chips and crap like bread and other things. It's, you know, good carbs, fruits, veggies, and those types of things. I still fail miserably at this, by the way, but I still attempt it. You know? Configuration release. So we're restoring. Okay, that makes sense. I have so many commits on these GitHub actions when I set them up on a new project. It's ridiculous. I need a better workflow for my GitHub actions fix. Alrighty, that's good. Let's go. Actions. Let's create a new one. And here we go. You're gonna make good bread at home, but it's a pain in the ass. God, I watched a YouTube video the other day that was hilarious. It went over like the genetic modification of bread. This is such a nerd. Nerding out here on carbs here. But it went over like the genetic modification of bread and like how it's bad for us now because of how they one, it's genetically engineered to like get rid of pesticides and stuff, and then also how it's prepared. It strips away most of the nutrients of bread, where medieval peasants used to get almost all their substance from bread, but now like modern bread's almost like poison. It was hilarious. I was going through it. So like you need to like roll it, but you go through like a stone roller to dehusk it, and then you to make like the medieval bread like the peasants ate back in the day. I got addicted. I was watching that whole video. I was like, this seems crazy. I'm never gonna do this, but I'm still gonna watch this video. Yeah. Oh, it's funny. What do we got? What is happening here? I should probably pay more attention. So we're doing the restore and it's airing out. Unknown switch. Works over here because this is the main system. Let's just look it up. .NET restore, maybe. Yeah, but that errored out. Huh. Let's see what it says here. The configuration release is not valid for a flag. Lame, but I get it. So we're removing that. We'll just have the build directly handle it. Yeah. That's the way to go. Okay. Let's try that. $3884. What do we have on 3884, Gabby? Ah! Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so Gabby, if you didn't know, when you're using a PR now, I went ahead and simplified the template, so it's much easier to do. So let's say you have a PR over here, and it fixes something. You can put in the PR, like right now you're just deleting the whole PR, but if you put fixes issue tag and put resolves dash pound 3841 or whatever it might be for the issue, it'll auto close the issue when that PR gets merged. So it makes issues much easier to maintain. So when you're doing that, and let's say you go PR new pull request, it'll pull in whatever it might be. Sure, whatever. Can we get something? Damn it, it's not gonna allow me to do it here. I don't have any code to do a PR with. Do I have an old one? Anywho, when you do it, use that template, and when it says resolves dot dash, put ampersand and then the issue to auto close it whenever it gets merged. Makes it a lot easier for folks to maintain. Yeah, but it's done because we have an action that does that. There's an action that goes through using that specific syntax. So just use the template. I went ahead and got rid of all the extra questions and shit in the template. So all you have to do, you can leave everything else blank. Just put the description in, and then where it says resolves issues, it'll say have a spot there, and just put pound or what do you call it? Hash sign? I don't even know what the hell you call it now. They keep changing the name of it, but you put that and then the number of the issue, and then it'll auto close the issue whenever it gets merged with the PR. All right, let's try that. All right, create release. Let's try it one more time. 4th time's the charm. Yeah. You shouldn't use, don't delete the template. I made the template better now, so you don't have to fill in as much crap. Yeah, cold showers is important. I like it. I don't know if there's any like physical benefits from like a cold shower standpoint. I'm not sure. I think it's kind of hippy dippy bullshit. But one thing I can say from cold showers is it's more about establishing mental fortitude. At least that's how I think of it. I don't know if it matters. I think my skin does feel good after a cold shower, much better than like when a hot shower dries out your skin. But like all this stuff online, like it increases blood flow and all this other crap, I'm not sure on that. I think some of it's just all hogwash to sell you $1,000 cold plunge or some crap. But I think establishing the mental fortitude to do the cold shower, I think, is the main benefit to it. I think it's more mental than actual, like, physical. In the winter? F no. See, that's what I'm talking about. But just imagine, it's freezing outside and you jump in the shower and it's even colder. It's like ice cubes are hitting you. You stand there, you finish. That's a real man there. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that. How can I get access to the new download now from the new site? Just send me an email. I'll look up the old site's email and I'll just tag it in the old purchase with you. Hey, I think it was actually doing something here. It didn't completely fail right away. What? Are we getting to publish? Oh, snap. We made it past the build stage. Saunas in Nordic countries? Yeah. Well, here in Texas, we could just make a wooden bench outside and then just wait for summer. We get our own sauna. For free! Oh, I messed up the latest commit to WinUtil? Did I? Oh, dang it. My autofill is always going to that. No, it's fine. It says it failed? What you talking about, Willis? I don't see no red X's. Huh. Not on my repo. Alright, we're still going here. Look at us go. Oh, that's a thing of beauty right there. All snap. Let's see what it looks like. All right, release version 0.3.0. Full change. So we originally created a console app using C#, and we slowly created each individual function here. Then we did a WFF intro and then added async for a big performance bump. The WPF GUI looked awful though. And now, when OneShot enters its final stage, its final evolution, converting it to F# from C# because F#'s just superior. It comes after C, so F better than C. Dur. And then Avlonia GUI instead of WPF because pretty much anything is better than WPF. I was joking about the F#, by the way. No one uses F#, but I wanted to. I just like it. So sweet. Let's just download that. We'll give it a whirl. Open it up. How big is this project? 70 megabytes. Yeah, I'm over. Ooh, you know what though? We need to have a custom icon for it. Yeah, so next release, probably like 3.1, we need to do like custom icon. We do the build. A few other things. But it's, oh no, there it goes. It just took a little bit. There it is. Look at that. Let's unblock it. We don't have any digital signatures, I don't think. Let me check. Yeah, no. Nothing. But let's try and launch it now. See what it does. Should all be self-contained here. It'll download the tweaks.json from WinUtil into here and then launch. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe we should do run as admin. I've never actually built it through GitHub, so it could have broken it. Alright, let's try run as admin. Yes. Perfect. But it still didn't grab the tweaks file. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say it should ground the tweaks file directly from WinUtil. And then feed it all in there. And then log all the changes here. Yeah, downloaded tweaks from GitHub. Save tweaks file. Do all the registry tweaks. Boom. Process those. Do the service optimizations. Test schedule for tweaks if there is any. And then get rid of any bloatware. Dang, it works great. Hot dog. Let's package that bad boy up. Send it over to old. Ooh, I don't think we can upload a 70 meg file to, that's okay. I got another way to do it. I'll do it later. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. I got this. All right. Let's go WinOneShot. Let's go releases. Oh, actually, I don't want to do this on stream. Now that I'm thinking about it. Never mind. Oh, that's fun. What decade or era do you wish you were born or lived in? I don't know, man. I think I'm pretty lucky. I was on the cusp of like Gen X / elder millennial. I don't know. Early 80s. I don't know. I feel like I was in the right generation. I like it. And I like all what I'm capable of doing today. And there's so much growing up. Maybe, you know, I would say I'd have more to learn if I was a little younger today, because you have so many tools and capabilities. But if I was born later, maybe I would have rotted out my brain in a smartphone or social media earlier if I was younger. So I don't know, man. That's a hard question for me to be. I can see the benefits if you can stay away from some of the negatives of like the later generations, like millennials and like Gen Z, for instance. I feel like there's so much opportunity there, but there's so many more pitfalls that are even worse. Like you think of cost of education, where you know they're gonna pay triple or quadruple what I paid for education. Cost of housing, same thing. But you also get into the opportunities being much bigger as far as social media is concerned and what we can achieve today. So I don't know. Yeah. I think there's farther to fall being younger, but there's also more to gain. It almost feels like a bigger sliding scale for the younger crowd. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of happy where I'm at. It feels less risky, but also a little bit less to gain because I'm older. So I can see benefits to each generation that each generation has. I always think there's a way to succeed in every scenario, and it's just the level of success you have. It's a hard question for me to answer. I love it. I can see each part. But I truly believe that, though. I think honestly, you can be put in humans just in general. You can give them the hardest problems possible that you can think of that are just so impossible if you're on the outside looking in. But when you're put in an impossible situation, you'll find a way. You always do. I always have. Like when I've run into things where I was like, that's impossible, and then it happened, and I was like, oh crap, I really stepped in it this time. And then I just chipped away at it little by little, and then before I knew it, I was like, oh well, this is actually not as impossible as I thought, and we're through it. So there's been multiple times in my life where I thought that, and I was like, oh, you know what, it's okay. So yeah, I don't think there's I wouldn't change anything about the generation I was born in. Got all the commits done. Sweet. Yeah, test some things more. We'll try it again in another stream, Code and Wonders. I think we'll do that. Here's the image. It said failed. ibb.co. Man, that's a shady site you got going on. Update PR template X. Really? Yeah, no. Let's try it on the Linux one. Yeah, no, it's fine. That's weird. Yours shows as an X. Dog food. I did see something like this guy had a dog that lived to be 30 years old, but he like was a chef and made the dog his food every day. It was kind of insane. You're telling me you wish you were born 10, 15 years later so you could floss on TikTok? Man, just imagine. Oh, that would have been the time. Man, who knows? What if could, it's like the butterfly effect. You just don't know the pitfalls you could have fallen into if I was born 10, 15 years later. Yeah. You Americans buy too much junk food. Spoken like a true European. Gosh, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know the junk food. Taco Bell and its deliciousness when it calls, followed up with you don't know the beauty of our Red 40 Code Red Mountain Dew with a giant combo at Taco Bell. The chemical balanced deliciousness of that meal. It screams America. Well, don't smell it too much. You're never gonna. It's like its own unique thing. You Europeans wouldn't know anything about that meal, I tell you what. That's true. Forget the word. Junk food's the real weapon. Oh, that's fair. We got drive-thrus for everything on the fast food side of things. But honestly, fast food's so damn expensive here. I don't really eat it just because it's like, God, might as well go to a sit-down restaurant anymore. So I think the last time we had fast food was like a month ago, and we were driving a couple states away, and I think we stopped at like a Wendy's. And for the whole family, like I have a family of 4, it was like $50. And I was sitting there doing the math in my head, and I was like, We could have just gone to like a Chili's or something, you know, something like you could sit down at. I'm not saying like it's a lot better, but it is compared to that stuff. So I'm like, what's the benefit of actually going into like a Wendy's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, other than the fact it's fast, kind of. It wasn't even that fast now that I think about it, though. It was maybe a little faster than a sit-down restaurant, but it was not great food at really expensive prices, and I was just like, oh man, us America, we've really lost our way. I remember back in my day, I'd go to a Wendy's with $5 and I would eat like a king. I would have like a loaded baked potato, a side salad, and then like 2 double cheeseburgers. And I'd still have change to spare. We had it so good. Those were the glory days. The golden years of America. When you could binge at a fast food restaurant on $4. We peaked at that time. Truly. But for real, yeah, these days nobody really eats fast food, I don't think. It's very, very, very seldom these days, just because it is way too expensive and the food kind of sucks. Yeah. A potato at Wendy's is $4 plus tax. Oh, God, just go to the supermarket at that point. Like, why? Why even bother? Favorite fast food place? Jersey Mike's probably. Here local. I don't know if those are nationwide or not, but Jersey Mike's I really, really enjoy. It's like a sub place. Imagine Subway if they didn't use like yoga bread. And I like a Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's sub's pretty solid. I'm trying to think of anything else fast food that I eat on the semi-regular, I should say. Really? Like, most of the other spots are just like sit-down restaurants we would actually go out to eat at. In-N-Out, like maybe the burger, but their fries are trash. Five Guys, it's like $1 billion, and it's just like a mid-burger. McDonald's, Burger King, I don't even know how they're still in business. Nobody eats there on purpose. Bojangles actually pretty decent. You know, me and my daughter do eat Bojangles for like breakfast sometimes, like maybe once every couple weeks. They have a pretty good breakfast, now that I say it. Not bad. Culver's, a little pricey, but I do like their desserts at Culver's. They have like a solid dessert. Sure. Whopper is pretty damn good. I don't care what you say. I don't know, man. So I have a theory. I have a theory about fast food. Like, anytime I'm like road tripping and like, let's say I'm driving somewhere, we'll go on long drives. Like, we can go on like a 20-hour car ride. It's not that big a deal. So if we're doing that, we're stopping at like restaurants, or not for restaurants, but fast food. I feel like if it's in the country, fast food restaurants are better than what we get in the city. Because I feel like the city fast food, like I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth, it all like feels bad. Like it's a bad presentation, and I feel like the food has been like reheated or something. And it's like always a trash experience for me. So I rarely eat in the city. But if I'm actually road tripping, you know, some of the fast food's not so bad, especially in the country areas. I don't know if it's different, or maybe it's just it could be a placebo effect, but I don't know. I feel like that's a thing. Could be. I'm just saying. Maybe because the city side is more expensive too, so I'm like expecting it to taste better because I'm paying more for it, where if you're in the country, it's typically a little cheaper. It's still pretty expensive though. And I'm like, I don't know. City ground's expensive. They cut quarters on the food. I agree with that. I mean, I could see that. 20 hours driving, how far out is from the house from the top of Texas. So like you can drive 12 hours and still be in Texas. So a lot of people don't realize how big it is. So I remember one time we went to South Padre, and that's about a maybe around a 12-hour drive to Padre Island, South Padre from Dallas Fort Worth. Maybe a little less, but it's well in the double digits, and that's just Texas. So like if you go Florida, yeah, you could go like here to like Orlando, and that'd be like 20 hours. If you want to go like northeast, I mean, you can easily be in the car for several days. You gotta really like driving. I don't mind when me and my wife are switching off. It's actually pretty fun. I don't mind, and our kids are really good in the car, so it's like not that big a deal. And they're older kids, so it's not the end of the world. You can drive at a maximum of 6-7 hours from all the points and be to the farthest point. Wow. That's cool. Do you think town city fast food take worse because they are more busy? Maybe. I don't know the whole logic behind it all. And maybe it's just all in my head. Yeah, I think Alaska's like crazy big. Like driving from end to end on Alaska is insane. I don't think you can. I think you can only drive on the coastal areas of Alaska during the summertime, and I think that is a stupid long drive too. I've never done that, nor do I have any intention on it. I hate the cold. Absolutely despise the cold. I would move south. I'd move to Mexico. Just because of the heat, man. I like heat. I just despise cold weather. It's funny. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna shut it down for the day. Thank you all for hanging out, listening to me yap, do some pull requests. We got 2 releases out. I'll probably upload the WinUtil into like the Discord for any YouTube members, Twitch subscribers. Those people, they have a special role in the Discord server. I'll drop it into the WinOneShot. You guys can try it out. Let me know what you think. Yeah. See what we do next week. What kind of trouble shenanigans we can get into next week. It should be fun. Y'all have a good one. See y'all in the next stream. It should be fun. Can I get that role without linking my Twitch? Oh, I don't think so, Dan. Hit me up. Just hit me up in the Discord, Dan, and I'll just give you a contributor role, and then you should have it. If you don't want to link your Twitch to Discord, I get it. Discord's the devil. It's just everyone uses the devil, so you know it's what we use. All right, y'all. Have a good one.